Welcome to the Mount Diablo Unified School District Governing Board meeting, September 22nd, 2021. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance and roll call. All right, next we will move to roll call. Vice President Mason.
Here.
Trustee Mayo.
Here.
Student Trustee Fowler. Is your microphone on?
It's new. Here.
Very good. Thank you. Glad you could be here, Trustee Fowler. Trustee McFerrin.
Here.
Trustee Nzewi.
Here.
I'm also present. We are all here. Thank you very much. All right. We'll begin with a report out from our closed session. 7.1 negotiations. The board may discuss negotiations or provide direction to its representatives regarding represented employees pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. We received information and provided direction. Item 7.2, discipline, dismissal, release, or reassignment of public employee. There was no item under this item 7.2. No information provided. Item 7.3, public employee performance evaluation superintendent pursuant to Government Code 54957. We received information. Item 7.4, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Government Code 54956.9A. Hinojosa v. MDUSD, claim number 3004952. The board, with a 5-0 vote, authorized settlement as recommended by council. Item 7.5, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to 54956.9B, one case. Information was provided. All right. Next item on the agenda is item 8.1, public comment. Oh.
Did we skip 6.2?
Excuse me. Thank you very much, Trustee Mayo. I skipped over item 6.2, review and potential approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda at this time?
Yes, we do. We would like to pull item 11.2.
Pulling item 11.2. All right. Any other changes to the agenda?
President Cowan, would you like to move the board member reports?
Yes, let's do that. Board, are we okay with moving the board reports to the end of the meeting? We know people like to be able to hear the superintendent's report earlier. All right. Yes. So board report item 13.1 will be moved to the end of the agenda.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other changes? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda with the removal of 11.2 and moving 13.1 to the end of the agenda. Second.
Thank you. Motion by Vice President Mason, second by Trustee Mayo. Oh, and we are going to move this to a vote. This is the first time that we're voting online, so give us a minute here. So we'll start with Trustee Fowler.
Yes.
Okay, and then I believe the rest of us will be voting online. Is that correct, Tech?
I've got to get to the right room. Wait a minute. Oh, we have to go back.
So if you're logged in, oh, we need to re-log in to ESB. So this is the first time that our newer board members have voted online. Thank you, Tech.
It doesn't look like there's a place to.
If we can get this working, it should speed up the rest of the meeting. So we appreciate your patience here with their first time voting electronically.
It's not at the top and it's not at the bottom.
Yeah, none of us are seeing it. Okay, so should we do voice vote? All right, while that gets worked on, we're going to do this one by a voice vote. All right, so trustee Mayo,
Yes.
trustee Mason,
Yes.
trustee McFerrin,
Yes.
trustee Nzewi.
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes 5-0 with concurrence from our student board member. Did I have you vote? Yes, I did. Okay, thank you very much. All right, so our agenda has been approved. That moves us to item 8.1, public comment. Public may address the board regarding any item within the jurisdiction of the Board of Education of the Mount Diablo Unified School District that is not on the agenda. These presentations are limited to 3 minutes each, or a total of 30 minutes for all speakers, or the 3-minute limit may be shortened. If there are multiple speakers on any one subject, the public comment period may be moved to the end of the meeting. Speakers are not allowed to yield their time. So for those of you who are new to public comment, I just want to make sure that you're clear that we on the board cannot engage in discussion with a public comment because the rest of the public was not notified of that topic ahead of time on the agenda. Okay, so please understand, we will carefully listen to every public comment, but we will generally not respond other than perhaps to ask a clarifying question. Staff may follow up and the topic can be added to a future board agenda item if needed. Okay. All right, so for public comment, how many cards do we have? We have 37 speakers. So if we can limit each speaker to 1 minute, we would appreciate that. Trustees? We want to give every person a chance to speak. And as you know, there are other ways also to communicate with the board, including email comments that are public. Any email that is received today, if you have a lengthier comment, you are welcome to send to boardcomments@mdusd.org. Thank you. All right, so we will begin with Linda Ortega, followed by Alyssa Juarez. And then Christina Merrick.
Good evening, President Cowan, trustees, Dr. Clark, and members of the audience. My name is Linda Ortega. I am the Media's Vice President and Bargaining Chair. I'm here this evening because I believe we want the same things: a qualified teacher in every classroom, a safe learning environment for all. So how do you attract and retain qualified teachers? You pay them a livable wage. It's no secret that there is a teacher shortage, but with your current salary proposal, why would anyone want to come or stay at Mount Diablo? My hope for tonight's meeting is that you, the school board, listen to our members and hear them. I want you to listen to their concerns, listen from their heart, because I have read, as well as you, their emails. Hear how during this pandemic, they are still teaching and coming to school each day. Dr. Clark, I have never sat down with you. I have never been able to chat with you. But if I did, I would tell you about all the amazing work our members do each and every day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Alyssa Juarez, followed by Christina Merrick.
Disgusted, deflated, disappointed, disrespected. These are just some of the words that describe how I felt when I read about the district's proposed raise. If you've ever wondered why we come out to speak to you about bargaining, it's because you are at the top and you all make the decisions for bargaining, not the district team. The district bargaining team represents you and they are to bring to the table offers that you have approved. Our students deserve the best, but we won't be able to retain or attract the best when we don't offer a competitive salary. We are 7th amongst surrounding districts and our kids deserve better. At the beginning of the pandemic, with all the uncertainty, we trusted the district when they were concerned that funding would drop and the promised 5.5% raise would hurt the district. But here we are $108 million later and all we've been offered is 2%. And in reality, it's 2% over 5 years. We can afford the 5.5% promised and more. Please direct your bargaining team to offer an amount that truly reflects the hard work and long unpaid hours we have put in over the last 3 years and those we will put in just over the next 2. Remember, teachers' working conditions are students' learning conditions.
Thank you. Christina Merrick, followed by Lillian Lim.
Lily Lum.
Lum, thank you.
My name is Christina Merrick, and this is my 11th year in the district as a credentialed school nurse. I work part-time 3 days a week, and I have one school per each of those days: Diablo View Middle, Sun Terrace Elementary, Wren Avenue Elementary. I'm here tonight, even after yesterday, I was diagnosed with 3 broken bones, because it matters. It matters that we try to stand up for our students and our staff, stand up for what's right, stand up what's needed. I'll start. Health insurance premiums going up each year, eat more into our paychecks each year. So it's essentially a pay cut. Please offer better healthcare coverage. Never mind the promised 5.5% salary increase that was agreed upon by both the district and union bargaining teams. And yet now here, years later, after the last contract was to be put in place, we are only being offered a 2% ongoing salary increase. Please see how this is really yet another pay cut. Please lower student to school nurse ratios. Students and staff need safer caseloads. Please pay your nurses when directed to work over 3 hours a day when covering for other assignments such as SEAs and LVNs. You guys used to pay us, now you don't. So please pay us for all the work. A teacher tonight asked me, oh, I thought you were, a longtime teacher said, oh, you're not our site anymore. I am their school nurse. I have been. She just hasn't seen me because we keep getting pulled. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Lillian Lum, followed by Brenda Duenas.
Good evening. My name is Lily Lum, one of the district's credentialed school nurses at Mount Olympic Alliance and Crossroads High School. I wish to address the district's slow response to the current pandemic crisis regarding contact tracing. Other districts have taken greater advantage of state and federal allocated COVID funds. LA Unified, enrollment of 600,000 students, have hired contact tracers, conducted mandatory testing of students, tracked both staff and student vaccine status, and have established a vaccine mandate. Closer to home, with an enrollment comparable to our district, West Contra Costa has hired a team of LVN contact tracers. Our district does not even have one full-time contact tracer. It is unrealistic and unfair to expect site administrators and support staff to do quality, accurate contact tracing while doing their assigned duties, especially at our Title I schools. District contact tracing efforts are disorganized. Students in the same family enrolled at different schools are given inconsistent and sometimes erroneous information. Disagreement among staff is common and merely adds to the anxiety about contact tracing efforts. We need dedicated contact tracers to help protect the health and safety of district students, staff, and the greater community. Thank you.
Thank you. Brenda, followed by April Saldivar.
My name is Brenda Duenas, and I'm a teacher at Bel Air Elementary School, but I don't know for how much longer. My husband is disabled. I am the only wage earner in my family. And if this continues, I'm going to have to look at one of the other 6 districts that pay more than we do. And it's sad because I am a product of this district. I graduated from Mount Diablo High School in 1982. And the thing that's the most frustrating is that we email you, you tell us that that's one way to contact you to get our voices heard, yet I got heard back from one board member, and that's Kaisha. She's the only one that even acknowledged that I have strong feelings in this. It is a slap in the face to offer us 2%. It is disrespectful and disgusting, especially when you can purchase cars for staff.
April, followed by Julia Jameson.
Good evening. My name is April Saldivar. I am a proud Shore Acres Elementary School teacher. Go Shore Acres. Teachers are here today exhausted but united. As you know, there is a teacher shortage crisis. This crisis exists because teachers who are full of heart and determination to help our students succeed, to give them opportunities to grow and achieve, cannot financially continue to work and grow in this district. Teachers have historically been grossly underpaid. While inflation rises and cost of living in this Bay Area has grown, teachers' salary increase has been 0%. We were promised a salary increase, it was taken away.
while the pattern for inflation and rising costs of living in the Bay Area is increasing, MDUS's pattern for teacher salary increase has been 0%. This means that the district is not meeting, read that. Teachers are leaving the profession because they cannot afford it. When we saw that the district, oh my goodness, our classrooms are overcrowded. And
Thank you. Way to go. All right. Julia Jameson, followed by Jane Enlow.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Dr. Clark. My name is Julia Jameson. I'm an English teacher at Mount Diablo High School and a member of Medea's bargaining team. Tonight, I'm going to share a personal example with you of how MDUSD is losing competitiveness with other districts when it comes to attracting and retaining teachers. Like Dr. Clark, my immediate previous position was in Vallejo City Unified School District. When I came to Mount Diablo Unified School District in 2016, I gave myself a $13,000 raise by moving districts. I checked what my salary would be if I still worked in Vallejo. It would have increased by more than $10,000 in those 5 years, while my salary in MDUSD has increased by fewer than $2,000. So at present, I only make $4,000 more than I would have if I was still in VCUSD. That's losing competitiveness.
Jane Enlow, followed by Laura Valdez.
Hi, I'm Jane Enlow and I teach at Sequoia Middle School. And it has come to my attention that you are considering ignoring your previous agreement to provide teachers with a 5.5% raise because you're under the impression that our district is in deficit. To be competitive with surrounding districts, we need at least 11% raise. Along with giving the raises that your district can financially handle and we deserve, medical expenses going up is a salary decrease and is unacceptable. When my insurance rates go up and I'm maxed out in years and units, that means I have to take a pay cut every year for health insurance. This is unacceptable. You need to get your district in order and instruct your team to negotiate a raise. I want to thank Keisha for writing back to me and responding to me. We deserve a raise. We need a raise.
Thank you, Laura Valdez, followed by Kimberly Layden.
Good evening. My name is Laura Valdez, and I am a teacher at Mount Diablo High School. I am a product of this district. I grew up here. I've raised kids here, and I proudly work here. I would like to continue proudly working here, but we need fair pay. We deserve fair pay, and we expect it and we demand it.
Thank you. Kimberly Layden, followed by Kelly Archibald.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Lyden, and I'm a teacher at Ignacio Valley Elementary. Students need a qualified teacher in every classroom, and they need qualified staff members in every position. The district's ability to attract and retain qualified staff is critical to this district's ability to provide a great education to all students, the education that they deserve. The ability is in danger because we've not had a salary increase since July 2017. There's already a teacher shortage in this state and it's going to get worse. That means that the teachers are going to have a choice where to work, and they're going to choose the district that offers the best pay, the best benefits, the best working conditions. I have a daughter who just became a teacher a couple of years ago. She seriously looked at this district and she chose not to work here. She's a product of this district and she chose not to work here. Is that my warning? It will be increasingly hard to put a qualified teacher in every classroom, and that hurts students. In addition, teachers are emotionally and physically exhausted.
Thank you. Kelly Archibald, followed by Craig Yen.
Start? Okay. Hi, my name is Kelly Archibald and I'm at Walnut Acres, and I honestly can't believe that I'm actually here because I can't believe things are so bad that I need to speak up because my human rights are not being met. It's unbelievable that I am teaching kindergarten in a tiny room with 32 children and no aid, basically no social distancing, no precautions. It's just kind of a free for all. This is unbelievable. I cannot believe that you guys are not in any kind of, you're in charge of this whole thing. Please help us. We are your front line. We are the ones making the direct impact with the children. We are there to support these babies and we are not getting support. You want us to go find other jobs? We will. I will take my talents elsewhere because I don't feel like I'm being respected here. Please make a choice for the children.
Thank you, Craig Yen, followed by Trisha Collins. Craig Yen. Craig. Craig Yen. There he is. All right, followed by Trisha Collins.
Here we go again. Year 19 in the district, too many bargaining sessions. I am Craig Yen. I am over at Valle Verde Elementary, and I'm a 4th grade teacher there. We're here to express our disappointment at the district's initial proposal. The lack of respect shown by the minimal salary increase is just one of the concerns. Increase in working hours, change in working conditions as we move forward, more site time for less pay, taking away prep time, agreeing to a 5.5% raise, making the cuts to our unit, and then reneging on that. How are you going to attract and retain your educators to make this a district? Please implore your negotiation team to do what's required. Thank you.
Thank you. Trisha Collins, followed by Chloe Page.
Let's go higher. Members of the board, I'm Trisha Collins, teacher at Silverwood. I am speaking today to express my disgust with negotiations and the district's proposals. We are already drastically underpaid for these reasons. The surrounding districts pay significantly more than we do, and we are losing good teachers because of it. In the past 4 school years alone, the district has received 12.25% in COLA increases, and none of this has been passed to the teachers. A 5.5% raise was negotiated by the district in good faith in 19. 100 teachers were laid off to raise the $21 million to fund it, and instead the district reneged on the deal and pocketed the money. There is no structural deficit. The fiscal information being provided to you by district admin is flawed. We are extremely overworked right now and exhausted. Every night I come home and collapse on my sofa. These are tough times. Teachers are working harder than ever. We need a raise that reflects reality and isn't a slap in the face. We need to be recognized, heard, and we need to feel that we matter.
Thank you. Chloe Page, followed by Trevor Pike.
Good evening. I've been a special ed teacher with Mount Diablo for 5 years now, and this proposal is insulting. Is that all we're worth to you? 2%? Seriously? Various times during my career here, I've nearly left for other districts, but I've stayed because I love my school and my students. But this insult might be the last straw. Why should I continue to teach in a district that disrespects me and thinks so little of my abilities? We're the largest district in the area, and yet you pay the least. In order to have a truly great school district, you need energetic, enthusiastic teachers who stick around to build something. That won't happen with these salaries. It just won't. You have an opportunity here to make this a truly fantastic school district. We want that to happen. You want that to happen. We could be the next Berkeley Unified, Palo Alto. But if you continue down this road, then we're going to be a district that good teachers avoid. Make no mistake, this is an opportunity to build something wonderful. Don't squander it.
Trevor Pike, followed by Amanda Graves.
Hi, it's a pleasure to see you all this evening. I am Trevor Pike, and I am an English teacher at Mount Diablo High School. No indispensable veteran teacher will choose to remain in a district that agrees to less than a 2% COLA yearly. Consequently, the board is faced with two options: fairly compensate and thereby retain all of the teachers you want to keep, or generate unnecessarily large cash carryovers. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Amanda Graves, followed by Denise Marks.
So I do think we need a fair contract. I'm actually speaking about something else tonight. The district involuntary transferred 12 teachers. On paper, it might not look that bad. At my school site, Walnut Acres, that meant a first grade teacher had to leave and is now teaching STEM at 4 different school sites. That's ridiculous. That's like saying on a Friday at noon to Dr. Clark, well, there's not that many students here, so we need you to go help Vallejo, Martinez, and Antioch. And oh, you start on Monday. No time to prep. Because on paper, the district thought having 26 students was not enough students in a class. Every second and third grade class at my school site now has 31 or 32 students. I am now a 2-3 combo class. I have 8 third grade students and 22 second grade students. Oh, 10 seconds. While I love my students, this is not okay. Also, I want to note, I do not appreciate getting emails from Dr. Rubio saying, and I quote, "We continue to see some unvaccinated employees put their colleagues and students at risk." You are putting students at risk by putting 31 students in a class. Thank you.
Denise Marks, followed by Nick Sanchez.
Good evening, Superintendent Clark and school board members. My name is Denise Marks, and I'm a kindergarten teacher at Ayers Elementary School. I've taught in the district for 25 years. I can't believe we're at this low point in negotiations. Unfortunately, you are making teachers' lives unbearably stressful with your demoralizing offers and proposals. The proposed 2% raise, coupled with additional site time and duties for kindergarten and other teachers, is a disgraceful slap in the face to every hardworking, dedicated educator in this district. We would actually be taking a cut in pay by accepting this, as you are adding time and duties to our already packed schedules. Teachers are stretched thin, and we are constantly asked to do more with less, or as you have proposed, basically with nothing in return. Thanks to the collapse of so many classes, including at my site, teachers are literally on the front lines in maxed out classrooms with unvaccinated children, trying to keep them safe, educated, and loved, providing for both their academic and social emotional well-being. I hope that you can settle a fair contract quickly. Thank you.
Thank you. Nick Sanchez, followed by Klarna Cruz.
Board of Trustees, Dr. Adam Clark. My name is Nick Sanchez. I am a loyal 17th year teacher with all years served in MDUSD. I also was an MDUSD student attending Hidden Valley, Valley View Middle, and College Park High. I am also a proud Medea rep. According to sources through my union, my school district is in a stronger financial position than they were prior to COVID. They have funding in surplus. They could comfortably afford to give its teachers a salary increase using only a fraction of their available funds. We are the lowest paid teachers in all of the surrounding districts, and our 5.5% salary increase, which was successfully mediated after 18 months of negotiating, was stripped away from us at the start of 2020 due to COVID paranoia. Our raise is long overdue and justified. Your teachers have kept this district rolling.
Thank you.
Your teachers perform the most meaningful and hardest work. One more second. What does it say about how much my district values us when I find out that they counter our salary increase proposal with 0% for 21-22? How much does MDUSD value its teachers? 0% more.
All right, thank you. Carla Cruz, followed by Julie Kennedy.
So first off, I want to say I did have something prepared, but I'm not going to go that route because you've already heard those arguments. If you want proof as to why we need a raise, I don't take you back last year, but I take you back a year and a half ago. Teachers were already figuring out how to teach before the board and the district even had a plan. We were figuring out how to make new lessons, how to digitalize lessons that we needed to use to meet standards so that students could be challenged at home. And we continued that last year. We continued our learning through virtual PDs through the summer. And then while we are in school, if you go to any school, there are teachers there that are there at 7 o'clock in the morning before their sight time. They leave at 6 o'clock. And we're not even talking about the extracurricular that they do in addition.
Thank you. Kim Chamberlain, followed by Claire Key.
Good evening. My name is Julie Kennedy, and I'm here with my staff, and I'd like to start with a quote for you. Employees are a company's greatest asset. They are your competitive advantage. You want to attract and retain the best. Provide them with encouragement, stimulus, and make them feel like they are an integral part of the company's mission, by Ann M. Mulcahy, former CEO of Xerox. Unfortunately, the actions of this district bargaining team do not represent these ideals at all. Teachers are working harder during a global pandemic than ever before, and what is the district's response? A negotiations proposal that is quite frankly disrespectful and insulting in its non-existent salary offer and increased workload proposal. This offer is in actuality a pay cut for us veteran teachers because of rising medical costs and inflation. And is that what we deserve after 20, 25, 30 years of service to this district? For newer teachers, it's a reason to leave the district immediately. Something the district cannot afford since there are still unfulfilled teaching positions that are being offered $5,000 signing bonuses. Teachers need a raise. We deserve a raise. We expect a raise. Please direct your district bargaining team to treat your teachers like the greatest assets, because we are, and make a fair, respectful proposal. Thank you.
Kim Chamberlain, followed by Claire Key. You can do it.
That's all right. Good evening. My name is Kim Chamberlain. I've been a teacher in the Mount Diablo district for more than 25 years. I started teaching in student teaching in 1994. I am a product of this district. Between the staff at El Monte, we have more than 100 years of service in this district. Like all of my colleagues, I have worked hard each and every day to ensure that my students get the best education I can give them, despite a math program that does not work for every child, a social studies book that has Arnold Schwarzenegger as the governor, and a science book that does not cover our standards. These last 18 months, I have worked harder than I've ever worked, 12, 14-hour days away from my family to make sure that my students give the best that I can give them. I need a cost of living raise to cover increased medical benefits, my time, and my worth. I deserve a raise. I demand a raise.
Thank you. Claire Key, followed by Heather Asselin.
Good evening, board, Dr. Clark, cabinet. My name is Claire Key. I'm a third grade teacher here at Monty Gardens Elementary School. This is my 36th year at Mount Diablo. And I've seen a lot of school board leadership come and go. And I find this board's current bargaining strategy alarming. You are offering employees essentially nothing, especially when you factor in for the cost of living adjustments, It's actually a pay cut, but you've heard that already tonight. As I said, this is my 36th year, and I'm getting very close to making my retirement decisions. There is actually 4 other teachers of similar vintage here at my site. We make up about 20% of this site's teaching staff. And at times we discuss our thoughts for when we think we will choose to wind down our careers. Our retirements will be sooner, not later. We also happen to have 4 student teachers here at our site right now. These student teachers are very fortunate. They're being mentored by experienced, highly qualified and very capable teachers. These future teachers will have choices when they start their careers. These future teachers, we're wondering, what are you going to do to ensure that Mount Diablo is the place they want to be? Our students deserve the best. Please reprioritize a budget that ensures adequate investment in your future workforce. Again, our students deserve.
Thank you. Heather Asselin, followed by Tavis Beam.
Hello, board. Woo, sorry. Thank you for having us here to speak tonight. I'm Heather Asselin. I work here at Monty Gardens. This is my 19th year as a teacher. This is my 7th year here in the district. I formerly taught in Pittsburgh Unified. I'm speaking to you as a very enthusiastic and overworked educator. Aside from my daily duties as a 5th grade teacher, I also serve on our school instructional leadership team and as our student leadership teacher. And to this stresses of COVID, the revolving door of students either sick or in quarantine that we have to prepare work for almost daily, the loss of a prep weekly because we lost a staff member this year and who took the virtual academy. And the constant worry is just beyond stressful. Teachers are tired. There is nothing normal about what we are living through. Our district has received millions of dollars and had lost money through COVID, and we are right back to where we were 5 years ago. Do you know how much rent has gone up here in 5 years? I do. The demands are high, the cost of living is high, the stress is high, the risk for illness is high. You know what is not high? Your offer. Please help bring a good offer to our teachers. Thank you.
Thank you. Tavis Beam, followed by Nancy Coffey.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm Tavis Beam. I've been a teacher for 13 years. I have a master's degree in education, and I've been in this district for 10 years. But most importantly, I am the shop teacher at Sequoia Middle School. And yes, I taught shop online last year. Okay? I'm angry, and my anger comes from pain. I'm the sole income in my home, and I make less than $4,000 a month. $2,000 goes to my mortgage, and I live in Vallejo because I cannot afford any property in Contra Costa County. I mean, $2,000 for all your bills, for your food, for bridge toll, for classroom supplies that I have to pay for because our district's PO policy is so arcane. You're destroying our CTE programs. Once upon a time, I believed in this district, and I was thinking about becoming an administrator, but I want to leave you with a story. A student stayed behind one day and said, Mr. Beam, I want to be a shop teacher just like you. How would you respond if you were me? I await your answer. How would you respond if you were me? Thank you.
Thank you. Nancy Coffey, followed by Kim Apana.
Hi, my name is Nancy Coffey, and I've worked in this district since 2003. I've taught in grades kinder through 12th. My late mother was a product and graduate of MDSD. My grandfather worked tirelessly on PTAs, PFCs, and even at the Dent Center. I used to be proud to say I worked and lived in MDSD. I'm here to ask the board to help me be proud again to say I work in this district. As a school board trustees, only you have the power to direct your bargaining team to make offers that accurately pay employees for their work. 2% across 3 years or more is not an accurate reflection of fair pay. My colleagues and fellow staff are insulted, to say the least. We deserve a raise. We need a raise for the work we do. As was said last year at a board meeting, when an administrator explained the increases in a salary or expenditure at the district level or at the Dent Center, quote, this increase is commensurate with the current market rate in order to be competitive, quote.
I challenge you to use that logic to direct your team to make offers commensurate and competitive with the market. Check out surrounding districts for examples.
Thank you. Kim Mapana, followed by Kip Penovich. Kim, yes, Kim and then Kip.
Hi. Hi, my name is Kim Apana. I'm a sixth grade math teacher at Riverview Middle School. My colleagues and I agree that our students deserve the best, and we are committed to doing our part to give them the best we have to offer. However, how can students truly receive the best when their teachers are overworked and underpaid? On the first day back at school, Dr. Clark told us, hello. You told us that salaries account for 94% of the MDUSD's budget. In actuality, salaries and benefits represent 80% of the total budget. They represent 94% of the unrestricted funds, which is one segment of the budget. The CBO needs to be transparent and accurate with the data. What happened to the $21 million that went unused when the staff layoffs were implemented in March of 2020? In addition, there is $53 million more coming from the state and feds that is not reflected in the budget. I speak for every teacher when I say this. Our students deserve the best. Pay teachers fairly, respect the work of the teachers. Hold on, almost done. Establish working conditions that are sustainable versus putting us down. Many of us lose our preps daily. We are exhausted. We deserve a raise, a very large raise. We deserved it before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and now. Please keep your promise. Thank you.
Kip Penovich, followed by Sandra Spalding.
Hi, I'm Kip Penovich from Northgate High School. And as I thought about what I would talk about, my first question kind of echoes what some of the previous people have said, and that's, if you had a child who was looking for a job, would you send them here? I don't think so. I think you would say, make the wisest choice you can, look at your compensation, and then go where you think you can get the most so you can establish your life as best as possible. Secondly, my second comment was about budgeting. When I look at comparisons between the second interim budget and when we finally come out with the unaudited actuals, there is a regular pattern over the last 6 years that there is a decent chunk of money that appears between the second interim and the unaudited actuals. Last year, it was 33 million. The year before that, it was 15 million. The year before that, it was 25. Over the last 6 years, there is almost $170 million that has appeared between the two. Be sure that you're transparent and accurate with the information you give us financially, because it hasn't seemed like it's been that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Sandra Spalding, followed by M. Barabak.
Hi, I'm Sandra Spalding and I teach at Mount Diablo High School. Thank you, board members and Dr. Clark. The offer was insulting and I will leave it there, but I would suggest an action item for the board is to sit down with Medea and the district people to sort out what the budget actually says, because I don't think any of us really have the whole picture. The second thing I wanted to talk about is a vaccine mandate. I am in a classroom, I see 150 students a day, and there is no, and I'm at a Title I school, there's no mandate. We know that this is a political issue and it should not be. This is a public health issue. We require 1 million vaccines already. Please, I'm begging you, require the vaccine. Be a leader on this issue. Thank you so much.
Thank you. M. Barabak, followed by Rachel Webb.
School board members, Dr. Clark. First of all, I want to thank you. This is a volunteer job you do, and it's so hard and the hours you put in, and I totally appreciate that. Just like you guys, we are mentally and emotionally exhausted. You would not believe what we are seeing in our classrooms every day. I almost want to start crying just talking about it. I am here to encourage you to please do the right thing. You guys can be our advocates. You can direct the bargaining team to give us a minimum 5% raise. Please be really transparent. Where is that COVID money going? We have no idea. How can we actually know that the right thing is being done? I have friends in a business. They said they would never put a budget together that didn't include a cost of increase for their employees and their business. Please do the right thing. In 2017, 3% raise. 2018, 0. 2018, 0. 2019, 0. 2020, 0. 2021, 0. Okay, that is let me see, like that is your 5% raise, okay, over those years. COLA has been 11.38%. So what that means is teachers have actually taken a pay cut. Please do the right thing, please. Thank you. Teaching right here in Riverview. I meant to say that 175 years, Riverview.
I got it. Thank you. Okay, Rachel Webb, followed by Nicholas Selby.
Before I begin, I would like to point out the distance between each chair and yourselves. My students do not have that, so please be aware. This district is sinking. It is failing our students, parents, and teachers. You claim that 94% of the budget is already going towards teacher salaries, and yet you won't show a breakdown of that at any negotiations meeting. Every teacher in the district knows this is inaccurate and would be happy to come in and reteach you basic addition and how to find percentages if needed. If you can't figure out a basic budget, then the accountant for this district needs to be fired. At this point, the only way to explain such an inaccurate budget while not sharing the data would be embezzlement. Every district around you has given multiple raises since we received our last one. Multiple. There are people in Antioch Unified receiving higher pay than myself with less experience while working on an emergency credential. Stop trying to throw us scraps and pretending you're doing as much as you can. We're tired of it. It's pathetic. This time around, we won't let you drag negotiations out. We'll walk out before that happens. Thank you for your measly 60 seconds of your time.
Thank you. Nicholas Selby, followed by Carmen Azcona.
Good evening, Board Trustees and Superintendent Clark. My name is Nicholas Selby, and I'm a middle school math and science teacher at Pleasant Hill Middle School. I'm here to address the district's structural deficit. In February of 2020, the school district and the teachers union agreed on a 5.5% pay increase. To help pay for this pay increase, over 100 teachers were released. The board then said no to the pay increase due to the thought of a decrease in funding. This decrease didn't happen. Teachers were still let go. It doesn't take a math teacher to see that you should be saving money. My question to you is this: what did you do with the money?
Thank you. Carmen Azcona, followed by Eric Wilson.
Good evening. My name is Carmen Azcona. I'm the 6th grade resource specialist at Pleasant Hill Middle School, and I'm here tonight to talk about equity. Equity is a word that has been thrown around a lot this year by the board, by the district, but how can we preach equity when we don't have curriculum for all of our classes? The school library at my site is closed every single day. We don't have a librarian and we don't have a local library. How is that equitable? How is it equitable to continue to cut or support classes? And how is it equitable that I have to fight the district tooth and nail to get my special education students more support? Finally, how is 2% equitable? That doesn't even cover my increased medical expenses. I'm asking that you honor your word where you talked about retaining highly qualified teachers, and to do that, you need to pay us what we deserve. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric Wilson, followed by Holly Pitts.
Good evening, board members and Superintendent Clark. Thank you for your time. My name is Eric Wilson, This is my 8th year at Concord High School, and I love my job, but I don't know how many more years I have in the school district if we don't get the fair compensation that we deserve and that we need. We all know that housing prices have surged in the Bay Area. It is getting unaffordable without a fair cost of living adjustments to live here and to work in this district. That is basically all I have to say. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Holly Pitts, followed by Eric Robertson.
Hello, my name is Holly Pitts. I work at Olympic High School and Home and Hospital. I have to work at both, or else I cannot afford to live. The ability to attract and retain qualified staff is a critical component of our district's ability to provide a great education for its students. That ability is in serious jeopardy because we haven't had a raise since 2016. The district owes us more than 5.5% from the prior agreement. The board reneged on this promise in 2020 based on fears that never materialized. The district suffered no ongoing financial impact from the pandemic. Okay? In fact, you're in a better position right now. To the Medea members here tonight, know your worth. We are overworked, we are underpaid, and repeatedly disrespected by the district and the board. We know our value, it's not 2%. Let your voice be heard, dig deep, get gritty. We will not stand by and let this mismanaged district undercut us again. To the board, your ship is sinking, and that's not the fault of teachers. Get your house in order, instruct the district to come to the table with a fair offer. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Eric Robertson, followed by Natasha Exner.
Greetings, my name is Eric Robertson. I teach at Bel Air in Bancroft. I'm concerned about the lack of substitute teachers within our district. Successful teachers lead to successful students. The key is support. During my 13-year tenure in Oakland Unified, there was a position called STIP sub in addition to regular subs. STIP subs are permanent sub positions within schools. They are on site every day like regular teachers. STIP subs allow school-wide continuity. Classrooms don't need to be split up when regular subs don't show. STIP subs allowed my Oakland school to do an intensive focus on students who are reading below grade level, relieving teachers for half-hour-long conferences with the principal and parent during the school day. STIP subs allow teachers to have peer observation within school and across the district. Imagine being a teacher who is struggling. It can be so powerful for a teacher to visit the classroom of another teacher who feels successful and observe them in action. I encourage you to look more into this very effective Oakland Unified program. Thank you for fighting for what's best for our kids.
Thank you very much. Natasha Exner, followed by Jeffrey Wico.
Hello, I teach first grade at Fair Oaks Elementary. I love my students and I love my job. What I don't love is constantly being asked to do more but expect less. I hate having a master's degree but earning less than $3,500 a month. I hate running out of money on the 10th of every month and having to rely on credit cards for gas, food, and classroom supplies. I've had to provide everything from crayons to playground equipment this year. Why don't teachers deserve more than 2%? Because we have summers and holidays off? I can assure you that my workday never ends at 3 o'clock. And with all the planning, prepping, and printing and responding to parents, I don't even have 2 days off a week. My students are amazing, but without the best educators, supplies, experiences, and curriculum, they are being failed, and it's not by teachers. If we are not given the raise and respect we deserve, I will be forced to leave the district and possibly the profession. If the board refuses to do the right thing, I encourage all union members to stand up for themselves and strike. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeffrey Wico, followed by Meredith Yelenti.
Good evening, and Dr. Clark, the board, and teachers. I am disappointed that the district has offered teachers 2% raise over a period of 3 years after that very disappointing contract agreement that they offer and did to us. Shame. I am appalled and disheartened that we teachers still feel treated as expendables. Shame. It is disappointing that they wanted high-value result but don't consider class size reduction, hiring more teachers and staff. Shame. It is disheartening to see a district with price of equity, and we always see a year after year of teacher turnover and layoffs. Shame. I feel disrespected when district proposed increase in workload to an overworked teacher already, because even our prep period is taken because there are no subs to fill it in. Shame. We need action. We need respect and a fair contract now.
Meredith Yolenti. I believe this is our last speaker.
Hello, my name is Meredith Yolenti. I was a teacher at Ayers before I became pregnant with my daughter, who is now a kindergartner in Bancroft. We're very happy there. Oh, hello, my name is Meredith Yolenti. I was a teacher at Ayers at the Mount Diablo District, and now I'm a parent of a kindergartner at Bancroft. I came to speak today in support of a vaccine mandate for all eligible students. I am and for a fair contract for and safe working conditions for teachers in the district. We need equitable COVID testing access that makes it convenient. There are too many limited sites right now. We need to have the students in the monument corridor and students without access to cars and students with parents that have a difficult work schedule be able to access the testing. Please consider pooled testing at school sites so we can make it more convenient and find and contain outbreaks before they spread. Our kids work really hard at school. They enjoy school. They love our awesome teachers. They deserve a safe place to learn. And our teachers work hard and they do amazing, excellent work. They deserve livable wage and safe working conditions. Please pass a fair wage and vaccine mandate for all students. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that concludes our public comment. Thank you all very much for your coming out tonight, for speaking, and also for all keeping your masks on indoors and showing how we can be civil at school board meetings. That is much, much appreciated here, as we know that's not happening everywhere in our region. So thank you very much. All right, that takes us to 9.0 communications. 9.1 district organizations. At regular board meetings, a single spokesperson of each recognized district organization may make a brief presentation. Items are limited to those which are informational. Okay. All right, we have 4 speakers for this item. We'll begin with Dan Harper.
Mr. Harper, will you just wait a minute until the room kind of,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
I want you to be heard. Yeah.
We'll make sure we can hear you. Thank you, everyone. All right, are we ready?
Is that good enough?
Okay, go ahead, Dan Harper.
Thank you. So hello, board members, superintendent, chief counsel. So I think you might know why we're here tonight. You probably heard us when we were rallying in front of the Dent Center. So I'm going to modify some of my comments. I mean, we've got the same offer that the teachers got with a few exceptions, but it's unacceptable. It's disrespectful. The offer that's out there, our members have been without a raise since 2017, same thing that the teachers are saying. And, just most importantly, the district's not in a structural deficit.
We believe that this, the CAO, the CBO is giving you misinformation about this. There's more than enough money to pay for what we sunshined that you all have seen back in May. We planned this rally because we didn't get an economic proposal, or we were told there wasn't going to be an economic proposal until the middle of October. Right after we planned the rally, all of a sudden we get an economic proposal and bargaining on Monday. So I think what that's showing is that our actions are being effective. They're working, but we need to do more because the proposal package that we were given was just woefully inadequate, to put it quite simply. You all already know what it is. You approved it. So with that said, we're going to be standing in solidarity with the teachers, with the Teamsters, with CSEA, with the psychologists. Sorry, I'm going to pronounce their name wrong, but we're going to stick together. And people are pretty mad. They're very upset because they haven't gotten a raise since 2017. And so, I know that from our turnout at our rally today, we didn't even have to put a lot of effort into it to get that many people to show up. And we are just getting started. So, we have members right now that are making minimum wage. That's shameful in this district. I would imagine some of them are probably living in their cars right now. So I think you know what you need to do, but you all do have the power to direct your negotiating team to give us what we're asking for. And it's not that much. So we demand fair raises. We demand them now. And we will be back here until we get them. Thank you.
Okay, we have Anita Johnson, and then Mark Jones, and then Sylvia Venturino.
Good evening. I am Anita Johnson, president of Mount Diablo Education Association. My pronouns are she and her. Medea is a united group of educators working together for the benefit of the students of the Mount Diablo Unified School District. Students need a qualified teacher in every classroom and a qualified staff member in every position. One of the most important responsibilities of the school district is to ensure the best possible people are available to meet our students' needs. The ability to attract and retain qualified staff is a critical component of our district's ability to provide a great education to all students. That ability is in serious jeopardy because we have not had a salary increase since July of 2017. Our students have one chance for a quality education. They need the best possible teachers and staff members. Students are suffering a lot from the stress of all of the vacant positions and the lack of planning. Please do what you can to resolve the problem with vacant positions by increasing salaries. The offer of a 2% increase over a 5-year period in which the COLA increases by 19% is deplorable. Your employees deserve a salary increase. We have worked through a pandemic to meet students' needs and keep them safe. We have welcomed students back to campus and are helping them adjust while still dealing with the pandemic ourselves. We have implemented poorly planned and poorly communicated changes and initiatives, and we have made it work for the students. We have been flexible and innovative and endured chaos because of the lack of substitutes, the lack of SEAs, the lack of special education teachers, the lack of LVNs, the lack of behaviorists, the lack of psychologists, the lack of office staff, the lack of librarians, the lack of music teachers, and the lack of competent administrators. We deserve a salary increase. The district owes us more than the 5.5% from the prior agreement. The district suffered no ongoing financial impact from the pandemic and is actually in a much better financial situation now. The board's decision to delay action on this agreement was one more thing we had to cope with during the pandemic.
It is now past time for the board to take action to resolve this past due balance by incorporating this amount into plans for an immediate salary increase. Our salary at MDUSD is lower than other districts. We are one of the lowest paying districts in the surrounding area. Bringing our salaries to the average of surrounding districts will require an 11% increase. We know the salaries in these districts will be increasing again next year, as they have multiple times since we received our last increase. The board must plan to make our salaries competitive and keep them competitive. With inflation and no salary increase in 3 years and no appropriate salary increase for the next several years, the proposal presented by the board's bargaining team is effectively a cut in pay. With the medical benefits cost increases, 2% over 5 years is effectively a cut in pay. We know that you are not getting accurate data from the fiscal department, and that is causing a lot of difficulty in understanding exactly what the district can afford. I urge you to take steps to resolve the problem, to ask detailed financial questions yourselves, expect reliable data, and corroborate the data you are given. There is an answer out there. This district has had more than $30 million more in revenue and $20 million less in personnel expenses than in 2017. The money is there. The Medea proposal of a 16.5% increase is affordable. I understand you can't take our word on this. You deserve to have solid answers to your questions. Your employees deserve a salary increase now. The district's growing problems in attracting and retaining employees is harmful to students, and it is going to get worse unless this problem is solved. Putting financial issues aside, I need to make sure you are aware of other ideas the district has proposed. Each of these proposals would be harmful to students. The district proposed an increase in the site time at elementary schools from 415 minutes to 435 minutes each day, requiring 20 more minutes of principal-directed work on site with no additional pay. This would be harmful to students. The effective pay cut would make it more difficult to attract and retain staff. Furthermore, the district proposed an increase in the site time at middle schools from 420 minutes to 435 minutes, requiring 15 more minutes of principal-directed work on site with no additional pay. This would be harmful to students. The effective pay cut will make it difficult to attract and retain staff. Furthermore, the district proposed additional duties for kindergarten teachers during the period of time after their students leave and before the end of site time. In reality, at most sites, this period is barely sufficient to ensure their teachers receive their contractually required prep time. This proposal would be harmful to students. Additional duties for kindergarten teachers would result in less support for kindergarten students. Furthermore, the district proposed requiring music teachers and librarians who are at a site less than 3 days each week to supervise students during recess time. This would be harmful to students. Adding additional duties would impact the quality of the music and library program and make it more difficult to attract and retain staff. Furthermore, the district proposed eliminating the assessment period for secondary SDC teachers working in the departmentalized model. This would be harmful to students. Without time in their schedules for conducting assessments, these teachers would rarely or never see the students on their caseload. Assessments would be delayed until the case manager could find time to conduct them. The time these teachers do find for assessment would take away from time that is scheduled for supporting other students. In addition, these teachers are also responsible for planning lessons for 3 to 4 academic classes per day for special needs students. There is insufficient time for lesson planning. The proposal is harmful to students. Your employees do tremendous things for our students. Stop making it harder. Stop adding work and refusing to pay people for it. The district's proposals for longer site time, less prep, and more responsibilities are all proposals for what is effectively a cut in pay. Our students deserve the best. They deserve to have a qualified teacher in every classroom and a qualified staff member in every position. Our district's ability to provide a great education to students depends on the ability to attract and retain employees. That ability is in serious jeopardy because we have not had a salary increase since July of 2017. Please direct your bargaining team to agree to our Medea's proposal. Medea is a united group of educators working together for the benefit of the students of the Mount Diablo Unified School District. I've detailed those items that we, the people who work most closely with students, believe the students need the most. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark Jones, followed by Sylvia Venturino.
Good evening, Dr. Clark, board members. Mark Jones, I'm representative for Teamsters 856 here at the district. I did come with a prepared speech that I am tossing out because I really only have a few points to make. Brief history lesson. My first day representing at this district was March 2nd, 2020. When I came in, there was a $24 million debt. Flash forward to this year, we're now sitting on over $100 million, and our offer is zero. Their offer is zero. So tonight I am saying that I will stand in solidarity with MUDSPA, CSEA, Medea, CST. We will stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters because this is not right to treat employees this way. Zero is what we're saying. Still, $100 million and a zero offer. That gives me zero confidence in a CBO. Zero. I really don't know much what else I can add to the conversations because everybody spoke so eloquently tonight, other than to say that the next time, if this continues, we're going to need a bigger room because we're going to have Teamsters, we're going to have MUDSPA, we're going to have Medea, and we're going to have CSA, if I missed anybody, sorry. But we're going to be here and we're going to fill up the room. And I just want you to know that they're righteous. And a 0% offer is not. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Good evening, Superintendent Clark, members of the board. My name is Sylvia Venturino. I'm a district-wide bilingual school psychologist and the co-president of the Mount Diablo School Psychologists Association, representing school psychologists and behavioral health specialists. We are disheartened that after we spent so much time and energy bargaining in good faith, our 2018-19 tentative agreement with the district was rejected at the last board meeting, a year and a half after it was signed. To us, it is absolutely clear that the district was not bargaining in good faith when they signed our tentative agreement in front of PERB mediators and then asked the board to reject it, the very document that they themselves signed. We recently met with the district negotiators and we truly appreciate the willingness to work towards a solution. What we do not appreciate is the manipulation and creative reporting of numbers and the ambiguous, inconsistent information that we are given. At the last board meeting, the amount of $8.5 million was utilized as the reason why the board should and consequently did reject the tentative agreement between MUDSPA and the district. This enormous amount was supposedly based on a 1.5% increase for 10 days over 3 bargaining units, utilizing the newly important Me Too clause. By the way, we still haven't received documentation of how this was actually determined, so we don't even know how that came about. However, the 1.5% increase had been off of our bargaining table for quite some time. We had agreed to forego it due to this new celebrity, the Me Too clause. I guess HR forgot about that when they put it in their equation, but suddenly it became a factor that must be considered. This 1.5 should not have been used in this confusing equation to come up with an even more perplexing result of $8.5 million. We are wondering, Was this extreme number a miscalculation, or was it used to intentionally mislead the board, the superintendent, and the public? That's a pretty big number for a very, very small group. Like others, we do not trust the information. At board meetings, high-priced items are routinely approved quickly and all at once. There's little discussion as these items are interpreted as being essential to the district. But as soon as an item includes one of the labor partners, the slide rule comes out, the beams get counted and moved from one jar to another. The Excel sheets start pivoting, the heads start shaking, and suddenly there's no funding. Why does this district have so much difficulty compensating employees that directly work with students? This behavior is baffling even to my group. Since the last board meeting, our already decimated department has continued to dwindle. We had lost over a quarter of our staff, and now that amount has increased as qualified professionals continue to leave. At the same time, just as we expected, demands for support services have skyrocketed. We have been experiencing a huge increase in requests for special education assessments, the need for behavioral and mental health support, counseling services, and therapy. We do not have enough staff to be able to provide the mandated services, let alone the extra mental health support students need following a pandemic. We do not have enough staff to be able to keep up with the increasing assessments being requested due to perceived learning loss and distance learning. Students are not able to receive required services due to the numerous vacancies in our department. Families are not able to receive services. All students are entitled to a free and appropriate public education, yet the district is inhibiting our ability to provide these mandated services. This is inconceivable and could have been avoided if the district had only bargained fairly. It is only September and we are exhausted. This is my 30th year in Mount Diablo Unified, and I have never seen it so bad. This isn't the first FCMAT report or budget crisis I've experienced. It's not the first time we've had declining enrollment. It's not the first time that employees lack faith and trust in the district, but the exceptionally high level of distrust and the extremely low level of morale that currently exists are, in my opinion, unprecedented. Other districts received substantial funding from the state and federal governments last year. Other districts compensated their employees fairly, but in Mount Diablo, where did those funds go? Your employees are asking for a lifeline. We are groveling for crumbs. MDUSD, please build trust with the different employee groups. Please compensate us fairly. Please remember that we are all here to serve the students. Board members, please hold them accountable. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes item 9.1. All right, we will move on with our agenda at this point. Item 10.0, recognitions and resolutions. 10.1, review and potential approval of resolution 2122-17 in recognition of National School Lunch Week. Dr. Clark.
President Cowan and the Mount Diablo Unified School District would like to present to the governing board resolution 21/22-22 in recognition of, find it here. Have quite a few here in front of me. National School Lunch Week. Whereas in 1946, then President Harry Truman signed the National School Lunch Act. Whereas the National School Lunch Program is now the largest federal child nutrition program. Whereas on October 9th, 1962, Congress, by joint resolution, designated the week beginning the second Sunday in October each year as National School Lunch Week. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mount Diablo Unified School District Board of Education that it celebrates National School Lunch Week from October 11th through the 15th, 2021, done in meeting duly assembled this the 22nd day of September 2021. So with that, President Cowan, I put this resolution in the hands of the board.
Thank you very much, Dr. Clark. Do we have a motion on this item?
I would make a motion that we approve resolution 21/22-17 in recognition of National School Lunch Week. And thank our food services for doing such a good job.
I'll second.
Thank you. Motion by Vice President Mason, second by Trustee Nzewi. Any other discussion on this item? Trustee Nzewi.
Our National School Lunch Program, along with other child nutrition programs such as free breakfast and supper, are among the best tools we have to fight child hunger. I'm sure everyone was appalled along with me when earlier this summer, a school district in Wisconsin opted out of continuing to provide free lunch to all students, as has been the case during the nationwide during COVID. One board member in this school district was concerned that kids would become spoiled. Can you imagine that? Spoiling kids by making sure they aren't hungry. Meanwhile, in California, our legislature and governor made permanent free school meals for all children. This school lunch week and every day, I hope our students, parents, and staff will be generous with their kudos to our nutrition team for literally having to figure out in a matter of days how to feed every student who wants to be fed, how to figure out how much food to prepare, how to handle the lines. And so I'm very, very grateful that you're spoiling our children.
Thank you very much, Trustee Nzewi. I think we would all second that. Add to that too, moving all of the lunch tables and everything outdoors for COVID as well. So it was an incredible feat that continues to happen every day in our schools. So thank you so much to all of our food service staff. All right, with that, shall we take this to a vote? Any other discussion? Trustee Mayo? Okay. All right, we'll take it to a vote. Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
And okay, so for the rest of us, for tech, I don't see the vote button on the screen. So are we going to be doing a voice vote? I know the intention was to vote online, but there is not. It says under discussion and does not show a vote button. So we'll continue with the voice vote throughout until we see a button in the future, if that gets fixed tonight. Okay, so voice vote, Trustee Mayo,
Yes.
Trustee Mason,
Yes.
Trustee McFerrin,
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi.
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes 5-0 with concurrence from our student board member. Oh, there it is on the screen. Okay, thank you.
Someone did it for us.
All right, it might work on the next one then. Okay. Okay, so item 10.2, review and potential approval of board resolution 2122-18 for personnel with provisional internship permits.
Yes, and Dr. Scudero is going to take this item.
So this is just the resolution for personnel, in this case, one, for the provisional internship permit. We bring for your review and potential approval, board resolution 21-22-18.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion that we approve Board Resolution 21/22-18 for personnel with provisional internship permits.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Trustee Mason, second by Trustee McFerrin. Any discussion on this item? We'll take it to a vote. Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
Trustee Mayo?
Yes.
Trustee Mason?
Yes.
Trustee McFerrin?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes 5-0 with concurrence from our student board member. Okay, we can see the votes on the screen. We just don't see the voting button over here. Apologies for that, but thank you. Okay. Item 10.3, review and potential approval of resolution 2122-22 in recognition of Indigenous Peoples Day.
So President Count, I have to present to the board. I have resolution 21/22-22 in recognition of Indigenous Peoples Day. Whereas the Mount Diablo Unified School District Governing Board seeks to formally recognize Indigenous Peoples Day, being motivated by the continuously developing value for cultural appreciation and being motivated to give due respect, acknowledgement, and honor. And whereas the Office of the Governor of California first proclaimed for our state in 2019 this day as Indigenous Peoples Days. With these eloquent words, and he goes on, I will skip through that. Therefore, let it be resolved that the governing board of the Mount Diablo Unified School District, fully endorsing the significance and meaning of this proclamation, hereby recognizes October 11th, 2021 as Indigenous Peoples Day. President Count, I put this item in the hands of the board.
Thank you very much, Dr. Clark. Do we have a motion?
I'll move that the board approve Resolution 21/22-22 in recognition of Indigenous Peoples' Day.
Thank you. Motion by trustee McFerrin, second by trustee Mayo. Any discussion on this item?
Yes,
Trustee Fowler.
I wanted to point out that Indigenous People Day is a holiday celebrating the original inhabitants of North America, observed instead of Columbus Day in some U.S. localities. According to the Associated Press style book, with the goal to unify others, as well as to bring awareness to issues affecting their communities. Representation matters, and I'm happy we're honoring it.
Thank you very much, trustee Fowler. Any other discussion on this item? Trustee Nzeri.
I'm going to share a land acknowledgement that Concord Communities Alliance, specifically Laura Nakamura, has generously shared with me today. Land is part of who we are. It is literally the ground on which home and community exist, where we all play, grow, plant, celebrate, pray, struggle, eat, sleep, create, and work. Land is the ground on which our history grows and where roots are set for future generations. To the people who occupy the land, it represents their history and their future. We make this land acknowledgement to recognize those who were here originally and to remember those who came later, took that land, often violently, and settled here with social and governmental support and encouragement. We make this land acknowledgement to honor the Native people whose land we now inhabit. It's important for us to acknowledge the long history and ongoing process of disruption, dislocation, and displacement which had to occur for us to live here. We recognize we are on stolen land that originally belonged to the Ohlone and Chupkan and Saklan tribes of the Bay Miwok people. Indigenous people are still here today, working to keep alive their culture, traditions, and languages. We are committed to making space in our conversations for Indigenous people's cultural teachings and concerns. As we walk in life, let's commit ourselves to make space for Indigenous people, help to amplify their voices, and invite them into our efforts. And MDUSD, as we all know very well today, is often compared to other districts, but something I've noticed boards around us do is begin their meetings with a land acknowledgement. It doesn't have to be as long as this, but we could develop one together and make it a regular part of our meetings to honor the land in which we are privileged to do our work. And I hope we can consider doing that soon.
Thank you very much, trustee Nzeri. I really appreciate that. And thank you to Laura Nakamura and the Concord Community Alliance for providing that land acknowledgement. I think that absolutely that is something that we can do as a board. And it's appreciated that it comes from the community as well. Yeah. Okay. All right. So shall we take this to a vote? We'll start with trustee Fowler.
Yes.
Trustee Mayo.
Yes.
Trustee Mason.
Yes.
Trustee McFerrin.
Yes.
Trustee Nzeri.
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes 5-0 with concurrence from our student board member. Thank you very much. All right. That takes us to item 10.4, review and potential approval of resolution 2122-23, proclaiming recognizing October 10th to 16th, 2021 as California Week of the School Administrator.
So President Count, I bring to the board this resolution, California Week of the School Administrator. Whereas approximately 15,000 certificated and classified school administrators are employed in the public schools of the state of California. And whereas the title school administrator is a broad term used to define many education leadership posts, which include the district executive team, principals, assistant principals, special education and adult education leaders, curriculum and assessment leaders, school business officials, classified educational leaders, and other school district employees. So now therefore be it resolved that the Mount Diablo Unified School District joins with the State Board of Education declaring October 10th through 16th, 2021 as Week of the School Administrator and commends the many outstanding contributions and services provided by administrative teams in our public schools. Be it further resolved that this resolution be distributed to all schools within the district. President Count, this resolution is now in the hands of the board.
Thank you very much, Dr. Clark. Do we have a motion on this item?
Madam President, I would move that the board approve Resolution 21/22-23 in recognition of October 10th through 16th, 2021 as the California Week of the School Administrator.
I'll second that.
Thank you very much. Motion by trustee Mayo, second by trustee Mason. Any discussion on this item? Yes, trustee Anzari.
So I appreciate, of course, every school administrator who's chosen this profession and chosen this district in which to share their skills and talents. And I want to give a special shout out, though, to our school site administrators for literally holding down the fort during this pandemic. I know you didn't do it alone, but let me give you your flowers now. You've managed empty campuses for months, keeping them open for necessary visits or for teachers to teach from their classrooms. You prepared your campuses to welcome students back in the spring and this August. You are contact tracers, logistics experts, and goodness knows whatever else you certainly did never expected on your job description where it said and other duties as assigned. Thank you for your leadership, patience, and commitment to the MDOSD community.
Thank you very much. Any other discussion on this item? All right, I would just like to add my thanks as well. I think from all of us that, I don't know what a school district is without its school administrator leaders, especially out at the sites, as you said. You've all gone above and beyond in so many ways, and we appreciate you every single day. So thank you. And we'll look forward to celebrating you during the week of our next board meeting as well. All right, so we take that to a vote. Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
Trustee Mayo?
Yes.
Trustee Mason?
Yes.
Trustee McFerrin?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes 5-0 with concurrence from our student board member. Thank you. Okay, that takes us to 10.5, review and potential approval of resolution 2122-25, recognizing October as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer questioning history month.
President Count, we have, and we're going to present to the board, resolution 21/22-25. October as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer questioning history month. Whereas lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer questioning history, Americans have made and continue to make lasting contributions to strengthen the fabric of American society. And whereas October holds historically significant days, such as the first National March on Washington and also Coming Out Day. So now therefore be it resolved that the Mount Diablo Unified School District Board recognizes and supports October as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer questioning history month. Be it further resolved that the Mount Diablo School Board encourages all schools to utilize high-quality curriculum and training resources such as those attached. So with that, President Count, I put this resolution in the hands of the board.
Thank you very much, Dr. Clark. Do we have a motion?
I'll move that the board approve resolution 21/22-25, recognizing October as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer questioning month.
Thank you. Motion by trustee McFerrin, second by trustee Mayo. Any discussion on this item? Trustee Fowler?
LGBTQ History Month provides role models, builds communities, and represents a civil rights statement about the contributions of the LGBT community. I'm happy that our district is putting this in motion and recognizing our students. We are here for you and we are welcoming.
Thank you very much, trustee Fowler. Any other discussion on this item? Trustee Nzewi?
We all know how easy it is to erase history or change history. As we see across the country, people want us to do that now in our teachings. And I think LGBTQ history is a perfect example of that. I would say American culture, up until rather recently, would have you believe that LGBTQ people didn't exist, like it was a new phenomenon, let's say in the 80s. But preparing for today, I only learned this year of LGBTQ History Month, But I learned today that it's been around since the mid-90s. And while Pride Month gets much of the attention, it's pretty amazing that this month is not more widely acknowledged and celebrated. So like I said in our Pride Month celebration, I'm really, really happy for the times our children are growing up in, that this month will be embraced, that our students will see that people that they've learned about in history previously will get that extra layer of knowing that there's people that we already know about in history that are LGBTQ, and that we can outwardly and purposefully identify them as such as they're learning about the contributions they've made in society. And I'm really excited that we live in a community that will embrace and uplift this history and our current students.
Thank you very much, Trustee Nzewi. Yes, this is the first time this board has proposed this resolution to recognize LGBTQ History Month. So I'm really excited for us to be the first to do this in our district, and just really encourage teachers, parents, students to take a look at the resolution and the resources provided, because we often talk about our outdated curriculum and the things that are not in our textbooks, but there are some really high quality resources out there with ready to go lesson plans and information. The one is lgbtqhistory.org. Another is lgbthistorymonth.com, and the other one is glsen.org, is a really great resource out there. So these are all things that could be used immediately, whether it's within a classroom or PTA or student GSA group as well. So, and I know Trustee Fowler, you're well connected with the clubs throughout the district, so appreciate that. All right, so with that, let's take this to a vote. Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
Trustee Mayo?
Yes.
Trustee Mason?
Yes.
Trustee McFerrin?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes 5-0 with concurrence from our student board member. Thank you very much. That concludes our recognitions and resolutions. So now on to 11.0 public employee appointments. Dr. Clark.
Yes, and HR Director Ron Sheehy is going to take the next two items.
Mount Diablo Unified School District is pleased to bring for your review and potential approval Bruce Burns as the new principal at Silverwood Elementary School. Bruce began his teaching career with Stockton Unified School District. He served as an elementary and middle school principal for 14 years and as superintendent for 11 years in the Moraga School District. Bruce holds a bachelor's degree in liberal studies and a master's degree in education administration. Bruce's wife is a MDUSD garden science teacher. His eldest daughter teaches high school science, and his youngest daughter is in graduate school working towards her special education credential.
All right, thank you very much. Do we have a motion on this item?
Madam President, I would move that the board approve the appointment of Bruce Burns as principal at Silverwood Elementary School.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Trustee Mayo, second by Trustee McFerrin. We'll take it to a vote. Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
Trustee Mayo?
Yes.
Trustee Mason?
Yes.
Trustee McFerrin?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes 5-0 with concurrence from our student board member. Would you like to come up and introduce yourself and anyone else who might be here with you?
Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Clark and members of the board. I'm delighted to be approved, anxious to get back to where my heart is, and that's working directly with students and teachers. I'm thrilled to be connected to or to work as a Skyhawk at Silverwood. I do want to thank the HR department for a very smooth process. They've been efficient and responsive. I look forward to meeting staff, parents, students, learning more about the school, recognizing it's a distinguished school, and learning about the successes and building on them, identifying challenges and working towards there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Congratulations. Mr. Sheehy, 11.3.
Mount Diablo Unified School District is pleased to bring for your review and potential approval Tyler Rosecrans as the new vice principal at Northgate High School. Tyler started his career in education as a moderate intensive teacher in the San Ramon Valley Unified School District. For the past year and a half, he has been the vice principal at Pine Hollow Middle School. Tyler holds a bachelor's degree from California State University, East Bay, and a master's degree in educational leadership from California State University, East Bay. Tyler's family consists of twin, almost 3-year-old boys and a week-old baby girl. When not working, Tyler is spending time with his family and volunteering as a soccer coach for Concord AYSO for his boys soccer team.
Thank you very much. Do we have a motion on this item?
I'll move that the board approve the appointment of Tyler Rosecrans as vice principal at Northgate High School.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by trustee McFerrin, second by trustee Mayo. We'll take that to a vote. Trustee Fowler,
Yes.
trustee Mayo,
Yes.
trustee Mason,
Yes.
trustee McFerrin,
Yes.
trustee Nzeri.
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes 5-0 with concurrence from our student board member. Is Tyler here tonight?
He's probably home with the baby.
Oh, home with the 1-week-old baby. All right. Well, congratulations, Tyler. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. That's all of our appointments for tonight. Item 11.2 had been pulled. Okay. All right. That takes us on to reports and information. Item 12.1, a report from the Budget Advisory Committee. Dr. Clark.
I'm going to have Dr. Gonzalez present this item.
I know I see Mr. Langley and Mr. Ferrante. I believe you're part of this as well. If you want to come on up, you're presenting.
I would like to introduce John Ferrante and Mike Langley, who are both going to present this evening on behalf of the Budget Advisory Committee. What we're going to try to do from here on out is every 2 to 3 meetings, have some representatives from the committee come and bring you some of the information they've been looking at, some of the discussions that they've been having. And we're kicking that off this evening with the 2 gentlemen that are going to give you the foundational information about the budget advisory and some of the priorities that we have. So gentlemen, take it away.
Could I have the first slide?
Oh, there you go.
It's a lot of trust. Good evening, Madam President, board members, superintendent, members of the public. I'm Michael Langley, a member of the Budget Advisory Committee. John and I will be presenting this update. I will elaborate as you read your own PowerPoints. This committee was formed nearly 15 years ago, and I've been a member periodically for 11 years, first as a Medea rep, then I was appointed by a former board member, and currently as a member of the Measure J Oversight Committee. The Budget Advisory Committee was born in troubled financial times, which were relatively worse than our normal financial troubled times, and was designed to give input to the superintendent from a broad spectrum of stakeholders. Initially, it was to consider the lesser of the destructive choices for budget cuts from the options available. When the state began partially restoring funding, members continued to study budgets, but frankly, their role was reduced as restoration of programs were obvious and championed directly from those who had suffered the devastating cuts. Periodically, when new perceived financial chokeholds were applied from the state, interest in the committee's input increased. Parenthetically, at times, the options available to the committee were heavily influenced by who sat in district chairs and helped us guide along. There were some who had very narrow choices, others gave us broader choices. That was actually in parentheses, so parenthetically was right. Currently, with the disruption of COVID-19 and the decreasing enrollment and suggested shortfalls, we are again on the verge of significance. In line D, one of the things we are to provide input on budget enhancements and reductions. Frankly, we don't have a lot of control over enhancements. This district gets what it gets and does what it needs to when it gets it. But again, we do become important when it's time to make cuts in lighting, for instance. Next slide would be this one. Committee composition, as you can see, appointees come from board members, from bargaining groups and other standing district committees, including Measure A, which is an advisory committee, and Measures C and J, which are oversight committees. 2 board members and 2 staff members complete the membership of this committee. I would like to note that not all positions are currently filled, and those that are filled sometimes are not attended. I am happy to see that there is a new positioning being filled in the agenda today. I think concerned groups should review the status of their appointees and look at the district's fiscal area on the website, and they'll see a nomination form to submit for general board approval. Now that I've given a little bit of history and context, my numbers guy, John, will take over.
Good evening, John Ferranti, Chair of Measure J Bond Oversight and Measure C Bond Oversight. I forgot how many years we've been meeting. It's been a long time. Most meetings, we discuss the same things because we get new data at most meetings. One thing that we do on a regular basis is we train the new members. Doing a budget is a nightmare. So training for members of this board is necessary. When there are budget reductions, we do give our inputs. Actually, our inputs are usually asked for and we gladly give them. Declining enrollment is currently a problem because that impacts how much funding we get, as you all know. So that's an ongoing concern. The CARES Act, that's new. So we're learning about that ourselves. Oh, I skipped over the budget development process. Now, Mika, I mean, that poor lady, wow. There's a lot of work involved there every single year. And every year we get a report on what's going on. And we get to see how crazy people get trying to get this done in time. We always discuss the unaudited actuals, and they're actuals. They just haven't been audited yet. They don't change between the unaudited and the audited. They're the same numbers, but we still get them presented to us. We get to review them. FCMAT. Every now and then they give us a physical health report. We're in the midst of talking with them right now, getting information and input from them as we do site walkthroughs. Where do I point this thing? There we go. So coming up, we've got a lot of data to look at. LPA did all of their work. I was involved in some of that. There's an awful lot of data there. We need to compare our district with other districts that are of a similar size to make sure we've got the same facility capability for the same number of students. Specialty programs, those are so changing from year to year to year, especially special ed. Counselors, they're here, they're there, they're here, they're gone. Something needs to be done to keep them here. Students need those. Data on school allocations. We're going through some of that right now. Each school site's being given a walkthrough to see who has what on board to determine what they need. That will be reviewed by FCMAT, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm old and I'm forgetful. We review the benefits programs. We will be looking at inputs for music and vocal and librarians. What's the utilization? This is a concern from the budget point of view. Utility usage. How much square footage do we have that is being utilized for what it was designed for? We have classrooms that aren't being used as classrooms. What are they being used for? Well, some are being used as computer labs. That's good. Some are being used as storage. That's not good. That has to be undone. We'll be looking at more data on early retirement. That came up last year, and I guess a number of people took advantage of that. That helps to lower the overall cost, but it means you get a lot of new teachers coming in if they even want to come in. And we need to look at, or we'll be looking at data for textbooks and hopefully the proper use of school utilizations. Bathrooms are a biggie. We've heard about bathrooms over and over and over again, especially on the Measure C Bond Oversight Committee. They tend to be an issue. I don't know how to resolve that. And we will continue meeting. We don't meet quarterly. We meet beginning of the school year. We meet again at first revise, second revise, third revise. If there are any changes, then we meet again and we go over all the data over and over again. And usually we have inputs, and hopefully we can do something positive this year instead of negative. That's it. Yes?
Pretty much, except I think you forgot the fact that we've added a lot of meetings. So we're pretty much meeting monthly,
Oh, yeah.
but at least
Okay.
we have fun. I mean, we get to interact with these guys on a regular basis. In any case, gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. Board members, do you have any questions about the budget advisory or some of the tasks they're taking on this year?
I just want to thank everyone that's been involved in the committee, the new folks, as well as the veteran folks that have served on the committee for a number of years. There is so much information that's available through our fiscal department, and it's important to folks to understand that where the information can be found, and to hear input from members like you who serve on the committee. I wanted to share that the Budget Advisory Committee meetings are open to the public, and currently the meetings are being held by Zoom. And the easiest way to find the Budget Advisory Committee information is to type Budget Advisory Committee into the search bar of the Mount Diablo Unified School District website, and the page for the committee comes up immediately. And the dates are listed there, as well as resources, like all kinds of financial resources through the State Department of Education and other areas for people to become more and more informed. So I would welcome folks' attendance at the meeting. And then, of course, there's always a public comment section on the agenda for folks to ask questions, and then perhaps they can receive an answer later. So thank you.
And since we are a board-appointed committee, we do have to follow the Brown Act. So as Ms. Mayo pointed out, we do have public comment that is required.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Trustee Mayo, for pointing out that it is a public meeting that anyone can attend. I know there are a lot of questions about our budget and finances right now. So just that is a really great reminder to have out there. Any member of the public is welcome to attend those meetings and ask questions at any time. So it's a great resource. Thank you so much. Anything else on that item? Okay. All right, that was information only. Our next report is 12.2, the FCMAT Fiscal Health Risk Analysis Report, Next Steps and Progress Monitoring.
Yeah, so we just want to know if the board has any questions about this process.
Trustees, any questions? Go ahead, Trustee McFerrin.
I just have a question because this has come up a lot recently. So on page 10, there's a mention of 89.4% of unrestricted expenditures being allocated for salary and benefits. in the district, and that the statewide average for this is 88% in 2019 to 20. It also says that MDUSD expects to spend 88.2% of unrestricted expenditures rather than the 89.4 because of textbook adoptions inflate this figure. And then it says that the percentage we plan to spend on this is well above the state average. But it does look like it's about 0.2% above that average. And so I just was kind of wondering if this is something that you can explain, kind of especially in light of hearing that we spend 94% of our budget on employee salary and benefits.
So let me first of all share what FCMAT put in its report. And I know that some of the board members asked this question. So I'm just going to reiterate what was shared with the board. So the question that you asked is taking information from a number of different locations. First of all, when you take a look at page 10, which is section 13.2, where it says FCMAT report, this is directly out of their report. And so what they're talking about is 88.2% number is from the adopted budget where they looked at what we had anticipated paying for salaries and benefits. They stated that the percentage of the unrestricted is lower. They stated that the percentage of the unrestricted 21-22 is lower because we know that we're going to be increasing spending this year, which means that we would expect to see a little less in the salaries and benefits because we're going to be spending so much more in not only technology, but also in textbooks. And so it's going to throw it off for 1 year, but then they also brought back that they're going to see it increasing again. Does that help?
So your reference to it being above the average has to do with not just the 0.2%, but looking at the year after where it's back up to 91.9%?
Well, and not only is that correct, but there's more information that is in their summary. So this is a snapshot of one thing they said, but it really would have been nice to have a lot more detail, and it's found in 3 other pages and sections of that report. So it did make it a little more complicated.
Okay. Thank you. Other questions over here? No. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. It is good to see the progress report. And I know this will be a regular occurrence for us to be able to see as we make progress on their specific recommendations. So appreciate that that's available to the board and to the public.
We will be putting that, if it's not already on the business services website, we'll go ahead and put those updates there so everyone can see the chronology of what they look like. The date on the front is the date that we submitted it into the board packet, which doesn't necessarily correlate with tonight's date, but we wanted to make sure that we were clear about the date that it was completed. And we will bring this back every 2 to 3 board meetings to give you updates. And if there are any questions in the meantime, any more information you'd like to have, we'd be happy to bring that back as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so that is the end of our reports and our board member reports. We move to the end of the meeting. So next we have 14.1 Superintendent's Report. Dr. Clark.
Great, and I have a presentation. Perfect, thank you. So first, I just want to again review our LCAP goals, is that all students will receive a high quality education in a safe and welcoming environment with equitable high expectations, access to technology, and instruction in the California state standards that prepare them for college and career. And our second goal is a high quality, culturally proficient and responsive staff will provide engaging instruction, respectful of all students' background to ensure that they are college and career ready. And goal 3, parents, families, and community will be informed, engaged, and empowered as partners with the Mount Diablo Unified School District to support student learning. And then also just again to reference our triangle that really focuses on learning acceleration, not learning loss, but acceleration, social emotional learning, and educational equity. Again, that's from our SIR report, from our systemic instructional review, and those are our areas of focus as we continue to move forward. So first of all, I just want to announce that tomorrow night at 5 o'clock, The Contra Costa County Office of Education will be broadcasting live the Teacher of the Year celebration. And we have 2 teachers who have been recognized for this very prestigious award. And they are 2 of 17 out of the 18 county school districts. And those teachers are, and we did recognize them in several meetings earlier on last spring, but Chelsea Ridenour from Diablo View, and also Libby McDonough from Prospect and Horizons, that those are our 2 teachers that are going to be representing the Mount Diablo Unified School District. So if you aren't busy tomorrow evening, that will be streaming live either on the county TV station or on their YouTube station. And we just want to, again, congratulate them and, wish them our best. I mean, they are superstars in our eyes. So whether they're moved on to the next level or not, they're still, excellent representatives for the Mount Diablo Unified School District. So just want to give them a special kudos. Next, I want to address, as I've committed to this board, is I want to continue to have conversations surrounding data around our students, around our efforts, and this is our last CAS data. This is from 1819, so this is our baseline, and just real quickly to explain what this is. On the left-hand side, you have English language arts. And what this document shows is that 51.10% of our students met or exceeded standards in English language arts. So just a tick over half of our students back in 1819, before the pandemic, were proficient on this measurement. And again, this is the standardized test from the state. And so it's one snapshot in time, but 51% of our students were proficient or met standards or exceeded standards. As we go over to math, it is a little bit lower. 39% of our students met or exceeded standards. So again, if we're comparing this to letter grades, we would say met or exceeded, that would be getting a letter grade of equivalent to an A or a B, and not met or nearly met, that would be equivalent to or C or a D. So it shows that we had work to do in this area pre-pandemic. And so we did give the CAS last year under the hybrid model. And I do have those scores. However, they're encumbered, but I will share with the board that they are a couple of percentage points below what we have here. So I think as the narrative is out there that there was this tremendous learning loss, at least by this measurement and by the students who participated in our standardized test, we are lower than where we were, but it's not a double-digit loss. It's not a it's right around 5%, 3% in both areas. So I think that when those data are able to be released, I will come back to this board and share what that information is. Students who did take the test last year do have access to their scores. So those scores are available for individual families to see and for site administrators and site personnel to see. Again, when we talk about CAS data, we're talking about last year's data. And so it's not reflective of the students who a teacher may have in his or her class right now. But it is data that is useful and can help guide some of our efforts going forward. So just to prepare this board and prepare the public that I will be sharing ongoing data throughout the year with our efforts, just to keep everyone abreast of student progress. Another data piece I would like to share, and I will be sharing regularly, is our suspension data. Suspension data is directly related to campus climate and school climates, and I know that this is This is small, but I'll go ahead and read it. It's not that many, but this is from our first month of school, and we had approximately 102 suspensions. These are all separate suspensions, separate students. So this is 102 students who were suspended. Just real quickly, Bel Air 2, Meadow Homes 3, Delta View 1, Shore Acres 1, Sun Terrace 1, Westwood 1, Diablo View Middle School 10, Foothill Middle School 1, Oak Grove Middle School 6, Pine Hollow Middle School 1, Pleasant Hill Middle School 3, Riverview Middle School 14, Sequoia Middle School 3, Valley View Middle School 4, College Park High School 21, Concord High School 4, Mount Diablo High School 4, Northgate High School 1, Ignacio Valley High School 1, Olympic High School 6, Glenbrook 13, Sunrise K8 1. So again, there's a story to all of these suspensions. What our expectation is that our site administrators and site personnel are working with these students and trying to resolve whatever issue resulted in a suspension. As this board knows, we are under state mandate to address our suspension data with our African-American students and our homeless and foster youth students. And so this is an area that, again, I will be bringing data regularly back to this board and sharing it with the public so that we are all very transparent on our discipline practices within the Mount Diablo Unified School District. Again, we want to stress alternatives to suspensions. We want to keep our students in school. We know that our students have had many challenges during the pandemic, and as they re-enter into school or enter into school for the first time, that there are going to be some challenges. And our expectation is that we have empathetic and caring adults to work and mentor and guide those students to making the right choices and correcting the negative behavior and not just applying punitive consequences. We as a district apply many punitive consequences. We've, last year, suspensions before the pandemic were over, I actually have that information right here. Let me give that to you. Last year, during the same time that I shared those, that I shared the CAS data, our suspension data for 1920 was 1,690 students were suspended. And so again, we're averaging, over 100 or so suspensions a month. And that's a number that we want to reduce by further engaging with our students, by making sure that first-time instruction is strong and is very clear to our students, and that acceleration and intervention methods are taking place in each and every one of our classrooms. And so, again, this is data that I'll be bringing back to this board every month. So wanted to share that.
Just a little pet peeve of mine.
Okay.
Riverview is one word.
Okay. Yes.
As a grad of Riverview.
Okay. Well, this came from Aries, so we'll have to fix that in Aries because this is not a table that was typed up. It just came from Aries. So we'll work on fixing that. Another thing that I'm excited to present on social emotional learning is this was a message that went out to staff this afternoon, and it was embedded in our counseling communication. But I'll go ahead and read it for those of you who may be struggling to see this. But the SEL assessment, social emotional learning assessment for 3rd through 12th grade students is currently in Illuminate. Communication was sent to principals on September 14th that included the directions and timeline. Please take time to review. Teachers will ensure each 3rd through 12th grade student completes the assessment by October 5th. So that the data can be available to review on the October 11th Professional Development Day. The student assessment should take approximately 15 to 20 minutes to complete online. The SEL assessment protocol, reports, and resources will be forthcoming from the Assessment, Research, and Evaluation Department. So again, we want to assess our students in multiple ways. I shared standardized test data with you earlier. this is another assessment that we'll be giving students that really measures the social emotional levels of our students so that we can adequately find ways to better support our students, or to at least get a baseline understanding of where our students are instead of making assumptions. We may underestimate how much our students have been affected over the last 18 months, or we might overestimate. And so we want to make sure that we have an accurate data point on where our students are so that we can best apply resources to those areas. So again, these are reports and information that I'll be bringing back to this board on a monthly basis. So with that, I'm gonna jump into COVID, and COVID kind of goes into the next item, but let me just share a little information that we have on COVID. So as we present our COVID prevention program, CPPP, I get so confused with all of these. This is when over the summer, as we were getting ready to start school, this was an update from Cal OSHA, which really triggers our CPP, our COVID prevention program. And so essentially what Cal OSHA was asking for was that the workplace standards were updated on June 17th to include requirements for vaccinated and unvaccinated workers. And so if you recall, as we were in summer, there was rules coming out around if you were vaccinated and you were with other folks who were vaccinated, you didn't have to wear a mask, things of that nature. And so this was just in June 17th. And so of course, things have changed since then, but this is what the requirement was. So as we bring forward in the next item, the COVID prevention program, it's pretty much the same as what we had last year, but there are some adjustments that reflect this Cal OSHA guidance. And so just want to bring that to the board's attention as we go into that next item. I do just want to just quickly highlight our mitigation factors around masks. As we're going around to schools, we're still seeing students, wearing masks, definitely indoors, also outdoors. I have to say, yesterday I passed by Olympic High School as it was dismissal time, and there were students who were a block away who were still wearing their masks as they were walking and talking. So I think the debate around masks is not a student issue, right? There's others who may have issues with it, but it really truly is an effective mechanism. Physical distancing outside and at lunchtime, we've talked about that. The sanitation, you can see the hand sanitizer that we all have in front of us. That's throughout all of our schools. The contact tracing, although it's not an exact science, we do have folks that are doing it. It's really all boots on the ground and really helping with this process. But it truly is working. And our quarantine guidelines that I know are confusing, it continues to change and get updated, but we're doing the best we can to follow that. And of course, our testing options, which I'll talk about. So testing. We have transitioned our testing off of the elementary sites. Of course, in this very stressful time of COVID, you do one thing and then people are saying, well, why are you doing this? Why don't you do this? And then we do that, and then they get upset about that as well. So I have to say we moved testing off of our elementary sites, not because we want to make life difficult for elementary folks. It's because at the high schools, they can better manage the testing layout and the testing sites themselves. So we've tried to strategically place them. So if you see from this chart, we have College Park High School. They're doing testing there 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays from 3:30 to 6. Mount Diablo High School, 2 days a week from 3 to 6. Northgate High School, 2 days a week, 3 to 6. Riverview Middle School, because of the high case rates, we have Riverview Middle School Monday and Thursday, 3 to 6. We've also added the Willow Creek Center, and that's taking place 2 days a week from 10 to 5. So almost all day long, we're doing testing down at the Willow Creek Center 2 days a week. And then Ignacio Valley High School, 2 days a week. And you see Wednesdays is at 3:30. And then something new that we just started last Saturday was doing all-day Saturday testing at Concord High School from 8 to 2. And we had several hundred parents show up for that. Parents and students show up for that last Saturday. I have to say that all the testing up top here is for students and staff. As we begin to implement the non-vaccinated staff test mandate, we're going to be able to, we're going to need to be able to accept those folks and provide an option for those folks to be tested. But again, this is the PCR test. So this is not the rapid test. This is the most effective test that we can give. And it's a service that we have been providing for our community and for students since last spring. And there's many people who contribute to making sure that this happens smoothly. So, so with our mitigation factors and with testing, we're contributing to our positive numbers in the county. So this is from the county dashboard. And so what this is active COVID-19 cases throughout the county are at 2,107. And this is a 38% change over the past 2 weeks, and that's a decrease. And so those numbers are very positive. And then the people who were hospitalized in all of Contra Costa County is 126, and that is an 18.6% decrease over the last 2 weeks. And so again, that is that is very good news for us as a county. Obviously, this has to do with mitigation factors in the county. It also has to do with our high vaccination rate in the county. And so next slide, which I just put us in there, was these are our Contra Costa County COVID-19 dashboard in terms of vaccinations. So this is the percentage of residents ages 12 and older who have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. So you can see in Contra Costa County, we're at 85.7% countywide. That's a great number compared to in the United States as a whole, it's 74.8%. So I think that, we're moving in the right direction. All of this is contributing to the next slide, which is, this is our case rate in the Mount Diablo Unified School District. Again, we're averaging 28,000 students. We have 14 active student cases, and we have 2 active staff cases. In a district our size, with students in classrooms, with one another, wearing masks, I think we should really be commended for this. Just to compare this, in my September 1st slide, the number was 50 for students and 5 for staff. So again, I think as more people, continue to be vaccinated, continue to practice the distancing and those measures, these numbers are continuing to improve. Of course, we can always do better, and there's more that needs to happen. We as a district and a board, we are gonna, have to continue to have discussions about this. I know that there's a lot of talk out there about student mandates and things of that nature. And we will, as a board, we will discuss that, and we will talk about pros and cons and really what that would look like. And so I'm eager to engage in that conversation. However, we first have to address the issue of staff vaccinations and testing those who are unvaccinated. And just so everyone knows that October 15th, it's a Friday, is the deadline for that to happen. And then starting October 17th, it's going to be expected that all staff members, all substitutes, all vendors who come on our campus, everyone, if you're on our campuses, you're going to be vaccinated. If you're staff, and you're not vaccinated, you're going to have to submit to the testing. So anyway, just want to share that. I think this is good news. I think things are in the midst of a pandemic. We're still fully in a pandemic. These are stressful times. There are still hospitalizations and people getting sick from this, and we still need to do more work and outreach. So with that, I'll open it up to questions before I move into the next item. So is there any questions or anything I can shed light for the board.
Trustees, questions? Trustee Nzeri.
You just said you included vendors.
Everybody.
Oh, yeah, so I just wanted to like clarify or
Right.
accentuate that. Is there, well, so as you know, today my daughter took her picture retake because it was pretty crappy in August. And someone brought up that concern that we don't know that the photography company is vaccinated or not. Is there, in this instance, is there a reason we have to wait for October 15th for vendors, for outsiders, non-staff?
Right, well, we've already made the decision of volunteers because we have a process in order to vet our volunteers, and we have them go through a process. We don't have a process in place yet for vendors, and you know, for people like Life Touch or things of that nature. Some, if they're working directly with students, then we can start putting that in the agreements as we look for those services. But at this point, you know, we really, our main goal is really taking care of our employees and making sure that we have a crystal clear policy and procedures for staff. And then if we're expecting staff to do it, then we're going to expect everyone else to do that. And then just when you think about contact tracing, remember a close contact is 15 minutes within 6 feet. So again, if you're just taking somebody's picture and the person who's taking the picture is wearing a mask and the student is unmasked, they take those pictures in, you know, I would say less than a minute. So I think we want to measure things out like that. Now, if you have someone who's coming and doing, maybe it's a speech pathologist who's a contracted speech pathologist and they're in close quarters working on speech, I think that's a different story than someone coming and just doing a quick service. So that would be an answer to your question.
Thank you. Other questions, comments?
I have a quick
Trustee-
comment. I would just say, I think the numbers are really good. And I think it's really important because of that, we stay vigilant and don't get excited like we did in June. And so I just hope all of us keep in mind that we don't want to go back there. So let's keep doing what seems to be working for us.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And can you just remind the public what the situation is for student athletes as far as vaccinations?
So our student athletes, we're required to test athletes who are participating in high contact sports. So that would be like water polo, football, wrestling, things of that nature. But we've taken it a step forward and we are requiring all of our athletes to test. However, if they're vaccinated, they don't have to test. So that's what we're doing with our athletes. And our athletes are testing, but they're testing outside of this schedule here. And so our athletic testing windows are not made public. So we don't want to have any confusion with athletes testing with other students or teachers or things like that. The athletes come at a separate time.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very helpful because I think people were wondering, you know, where are we with athletes? And that's just one more incentive for our high school
and
athletes
Let me
to
say
be.
athletes and extracurricular. So if there's a school play, if there's, you know, the band performance and things like that, that would equate extracurricular. So those students are participating in testing as well and providing vaccination proof if they want to be excused from that testing.
Thank you. Yes. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of incentive for students to vaccinate,
Absolutely.
especially if they're in any extracurricular or sports activities. Just get that vaccination done and that will lower your length of quarantine if you need to quarantine, lowers the number of COVID testing that you need to do. So yeah, it's great that we have that in place.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you. Any other questions, trustees, about the COVID part of the presentation or even the earlier part from the superintendent? Trustee McFerrin.
I just want to say that I really appreciate the data around our CAST scores and also our suspension data. Kind of what you shared isn't surprising to me, kind of given that I don't have a deficit mindset around our students and their learning. I also recently heard that like kind of a swing of about 5% is never really statistically significant one way or another. So I just appreciated that our CAST scores they're just one data point, but it doesn't, it just doesn't line up with kind of this false narrative that I'm sometimes hearing about learning loss kind of before evaluating and assessing our students. So thank you for providing that to us. And also, I'm seeing in my day job that students are really kind of struggling with kind of the return to full days on campus. And so, I'm hopeful that our suspension data improves, but that didn't really surprise me either. And I appreciate you sharing it with us, and then, promising to continue to share that data with us as the school year continues.
Absolutely. I think, I think as you pointed out, students are transitioning back and it is tough, but I think, we also heard tonight that the adults who, whether it's, teachers or classified staff, bus drivers, administrators, districts, district office staff, this is an adjustment for everyone. And we understand that these are highly charged and highly stressful times for everybody. And so, yeah, there's a lot of stress on all of us. We are all feeling it. And I don't want to highlight one group over another and say, oh, this group is feeling it more, because everyone I talk to is feeling it. So I appreciate you bringing that out, because our focus is on the students, right, first. And really, how are we going to work with them on reacclimating them to the day-to-day educational process? Thank you.
All right, I really appreciate that. And also, I would say on the CASP and suspension data, you mentioned that, that's one of the things that we need to really look at and improve, particularly for specific student groups. So I'm assuming that as we move forward and you continue to share the data, that you'll also be separating it out by the student groups. Is that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And if our data wasn't encumbered, I would present that to you right now, but
Right.
the state has it all encumbered. And just so you know, I'll be sharing out and making available to the public individual school data with all of their groups broken down, as well as district data, grade level data. Again, it's not in a way to, to be punitive about it. We just want to be transparent and share what's going on out there and seeing ways that we can continue to support our students and make sure that the programs that we have are doing what they were intended to do, and really using that as a guide going forward to see how we can best support our student and provide the best educational opportunities for all students.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think it'll be really great for us to hear what are those strategies. So like you mentioned, there's restorative justice, there's other things that you can do. And so when you bring the data, also bringing what those strategies are that we hope over the course of this year will make those improvements happen, and what they look like would be really great to hear. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else? Shall we move on? All right. Thank you.
So the next item is item 14.2, and it's review and potential approval of the updated COVID-19 prevention program. So that was in your packet. I'm not going to go through it. It's a 19-page document. It's been posted on our website since last spring. We just had to update it, and part of that process is bringing it to the board. So since it's been posted, for the last 5 days, and it's a public document, I'm asking for potential approval so that we can post it back on our website and put that board stamp of approval on it. If you have any questions about it, I'd be happy to address those.
I was going to make a motion that we approve the updated COVID-19 prevention program.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Motion by Vice President Mason, second by Trustee Mayo. Any discussion or questions at this point? Pretty straightforward process. And I think, as you explained, it's the OSHA requirements that need to be put in there. And it's not a document that we use. Much more, I think, user-friendly documents beyond that to be able to share out like you just did, where the COVID testing can be achieved and all of those other pieces. So this will meet the requirements of that particular document, is my understanding. Okay, shall we take it to a vote? Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
Trustee Mayo?
Yes.
Trustee Mason?
Yes.
Trustee McFerrin?
Yes.
Trustee Nzeri?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes 5-0 with concurrence from our student board member. Thank you very much. Okay, great. All right, thank you, Dr. Clark. That moves us to our consent agenda. And
And I know that trustee Fowler had two items that she had wanted to pull, so if she will
go ahead, trustee
remind
Fowler.
me what those are.
I would like to pull item 15.8 and 15.10.
Okay, any other items from other trustees? Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda with the removal of 15.8 and 15.10.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All right, motion by trustee Mason, second by trustee Nzewi. We'll take that to a vote. Trustee Fowler,
Yes.
trustee Mayo,
Yes.
trustee Mason,
Yes.
trustee McFerrin,
Yes.
trustee Nzewi.
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes 5-0 with concurrence from our student board member. All right, so that will move us to consent items pulled for discussion. We'll start with 15.8. Trustee Fowler.
15.8 is regarding the outdoor education. In elementary school, I still remember my experience with outdoor education, and I even still remember my leaders' names. It was an amazing experience that helped build community and leadership, and I'm beyond happy that we're having it this year and fortunate. I even hope to be a chaperone for it this year for my old elementary school, Valhalla Elementary, and I'm just beyond happy that it's here. I'm so grateful for it. It's an amazing experience.
And I was actually going to pull this item as well, and I just wanted to pull it to say that I think any program like this that comes before the board is they should attach their COVID protocols to the contract, so we make sure that they're following at the minimum what we're following.
Okay, any other comments? Trustee Mayo?
I understand and appreciate what Ms. Mason is requesting. However, these camps are going to be next spring and they're going to change a lot, possibly, the protocols.
Yeah, and I'm voting for it. I just think for the time being, it'd be a good idea, because God help us if another variant comes around, we might still be here.
Right. You're just looking for the depth.
Yeah.
And the recognition. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, there was a section on COVID-19, but it only had to do with canceling the program if needed, so not exactly the health protocols. All right, great. I think the other thing of note here is for the district to consider, and it doesn't change my vote on this tonight, but to consider which fifth graders have access to outdoor learning, to these outdoor camps, and which don't. I know that's something that the MDUSD Ed Foundation was interested in potentially assisting with, and there's a lot of people out there that are working to find grants and additional funds to be able to ensure that all students have access to this. But I think it's something that we haven't achieved yet in our district. In a lot of cases, it's funded, directly by the parents or by a specific grant for a specific school, but there are some schools that don't have access to it at all. So I would hope that we continue to really work to make sure that all fifth graders have this opportunity. All right. Any other comments? Okay, so we'll take that to a vote. Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did we have a motion? Let me let you make a motion on that, Trustee Fowler.
I move to approve the independent service contract between Mount Diablo Unified School District and Exploring New Horizons for Outdoor Education.
I'll second that.
All right. Thank you. Motion by trustee Fowler, second by trustee Mason. Now we'll take it to a vote. Trustee Fowler.
Yes.
Trustee Mayo.
Yes.
Trustee Mason.
Yes.
Trustee McFerrin.
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi.
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes 5-0 with concurrence from our student board member. That moves us to 1510, and we'll give the floor to you again, Trustee Fowler.
I wanted to say that I did get my Chromebook today, and it did have a OtterBox around it. So fortunate for those middle school students that it will be protected, as well as an insurance policy. The access it allows for us in school to excel and succeed is amazing. I know in most of my classes, we will be using our Chromebooks every day. For instance, in my sociology class, We're using it to create presentations. My AP Stat class, we are using it as well for graphing. And in my AP French class, we're using it for language. So it's a great tool, and I'm very happy that we have it in our district. It allows opportunities for everyone to succeed. And with that,
You could just say the number 1510.
okay. I move to approve the 2021 to 2022 Penny Computer / Technology purchases spreadsheet, September 1st, 2021 through September 14th, 2021, in the amount of $8,518.01.
I'll second that.
All right, thank you very much. Motion by trustee Fowler, second by trustee Mason. Any other discussion on this item? I would just say, as we're moving forward with the Chromebook rollout and with the hotspots, I hope that we are really prioritizing those students who really need access to the internet to be able to get those as soon as possible versus other students who may not have that need as much. I know that we're rolling it out as quickly as possible throughout the whole district, but I hope that we have that equity lens as we roll it out. Okay, we'll take that to a vote. Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
Trustee Mayo?
Yes.
Trustee Mason?
Yes.
Trustee McFerrin?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes 5-0 with concurrence from our student board member. Thank you. That concludes our consent items for the evening. Okay, that takes us to items 18.0, business and action items. 18.1 is review and potential approval of the public hearing regarding sufficiency of textbooks and instructional materials for the 2021-2022 school year. Dr. Clark.
I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Sachs to introduce this item.
Maybe. Okay, here we go. Good evening, everyone. This is an annual textbook sufficiency. It's actually a public hearing to say that we do as a district have sufficient textbooks. Two things to note: that unfortunately Glenbrook was left off the list. It's a very small school, but it's an important school and they are sufficient with their textbooks. So I just wanted to make sure that that was clear for the record. And then also textbook sufficiency means one of two things. One, they've got their hands on the books this second, or it could mean that they are in a truck in transit. So the good news is that it's just within a matter of days that we're going to have all the books for all of the students. And so this is here for public hearing and for approval.
All right, thank you very much. So we'll open the public hearing. I don't think there are any public comments on this item. Going on. All right, we're going to close the public hearing. Thank you very much. I know there's a lot of interest in textbook sufficiency. Okay, all right. So we need a motion on this item.
Madam President, in honor of Mr. Willie Mims, I move that the board adopt the 2021-22 resolution 21/22-16, sufficiency of textbooks and instructional materials.
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. Motion by trustee Mayo, second by trustee Mason. Any further discussion on this item? All right.
I just want to, even though that sounded humorous, I want to share that I do respect Mr. Mims' constant reminder to school boards around the importance of materials for students. And he always questions us about this and questions whether the information is reliable. But I support staff in the efforts they've undertaken to ensure that our students have those materials. So thank you.
Much appreciated, trustee Mayo. Thank you for that. Absolutely. All right, we'll take this to a vote. Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
Trustee Mayo?
Yes.
Trustee Mason,
Yes.
trustee McFerrin.
Yes.
Trustee Anziri.
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes 5-0 with concurrence from our student board member. All right, 18.2, review and approve new job description for special education information systems specialist.
Dr. Aguirre is going to take this item.
Okay, now it's on. Thank you. So regarding this item, I'm reorganizing two current positions within our department due to just changes in technology, one of which was used to formerly manually enter transportation forms, and now those are done online. So it's a simpler process. And certainly it still needs to be accurate. So the person is spending a lot of time verifying the data that's input. And then the second part about that is now special education is reported to CalPADS, which is the state single reporting system, as opposed to CaseMIS, which is now obsolete. And so the duties have shifted around there more over to the DBA. And the person now will be just handling the day-to-day operations. So we can combine those two into one position. And the job description and the salary accompanies it, reflects the importance of accurate, timely reporting, both up to the state and also back to our department staff.
All right, thank you very much. It's very important to update these things and make sure that they align with what the actual jobs are. So much appreciated. Also combining jobs where possible. All right, do we have a motion on this item?
I'll make the motion to approve the job description for the special education information systems specialist.
Second.
Motion by trustee Mason, second by trustee Mayo. Any other discussion on this item? Okay, take it to a vote. Trustee Fowler,
Yes.
trustee Mayo,
Yes.
trustee Mason,
Yes.
trustee McFerrin,
Yes.
trustee Anziri.
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes 5-0 with concurrence from our student board member.
Thank you very much.
All right, item 18.3, review and potential approval of revision to administrative regulation 1312.3.
And Ms. Sachs is going to present the following couple items.
Absolutely. So this may look familiar. This has been to you twice before. I really want to give a shout out to our federal auditors that look at these things quite carefully. So there are a couple words and actually a very short paragraph that they realized that was unfortunately left off the last version. So with regards to the entire document, everything that is underlined is what's changed and everything else is absolutely the same. And they have assured me this is the last change.
Okay, much appreciated. It's important to attend to those details. Do we have a motion on this item?
Madam President, I move the board approve revisions to Administrative Regulation 1312.3.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Motion by trustee Mayo, second by trustee Mason. Any further discussion on this item? We'll take it to a vote. Trustee Fowler,
Yes.
trustee Mayo,
Yes.
trustee Mason,
Yes.
trustee McFerrin,
Yes.
trustee Anziri.
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes 5-0 with concurrence from our student board member. To item 18.4.
In front of you this evening is another board policy and regulation about parent involvement. It addresses not only Title I schools, but also all of our other schools in the district. I would like to thank all of the advisory groups and folks that did provide information to us with regards to changes. In actuality, we did not make any changes because the input had mostly to do with how we were serving families that had difficulty getting fingerprints done, or there were mostly questions about COVID and how we were supporting our community and our families with COVID-related issues. So they did not exactly connect to this board policy 60/20, but there are things that our team are following up on. And I'd like to recognize Dawn Edwards and her work with this policy and administrative regulation.
Thank you very much. Do we have a motion on this item?
Madam President, I move that the board approve the revisions to board policy and administrative regulation 6020.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by trustee Mayo, second by trustee McFerrin. Any discussion on this item? No? Okay, I just want to say thank you to all the staff that worked on this, and for your attempts to get feedback through the various committees and groups. I know sometimes a 9-page policy is not something that's easy to send out and ask people to read and provide feedback on. But I think going forward, when we have this in place, we can highlight key pieces of it with those committees. Like I really appreciate number 4 that really talks about meaningful involvement of parents, guardians, and family members, and really looking at the barriers that exist to participation, with particular attention to those who are economically disadvantaged or disabled or have limited English proficiency, or are of any racial or ethnic minority background. So policies like this keep us focused on those needs and make sure that we are taking those into account and doing everything that we can. So I appreciate that. All right, take it to a vote. Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
Trustee Mayo?
Yes.
Trustee Mason?
Yes.
Trustee McFerrin?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes 5-0 with concurrence from our student board member. Thank you. Okay, item 18.5. Is that you as well? Go ahead.
Yes, this is ours. And these are revisions that were brought to your attention. Information at our last board meeting, board policy and administrative regulation 6174, addressing the education and the support of emerging bilingual students, or otherwise known in other districts as English learners. But we're trying to change our lexicon.
Thank you. Do we have a motion on this item?
Madam President, I move the board approve the revisions to board policy administrative regulation 6174, addressing the education of emerging bilingual students.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Motion by trustee Mayo, second by trustee Mason. Any discussion on this item? All right, I think none at this point, since it has come back to us. Do appreciate the change of lexicon, though, to emerging bilingual students. I think that's something we all will need to practice to get used to. All right, let's take that to a vote. Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
Trustee Mayo?
Yes.
Trustee Mason?
Yes.
Trustee McFerrin?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes 5-0 with concurrence from our student board member. Thank you very much. 18.6, review and potential approval of nomination of 1 member to the Budget Advisory Committee.
And I think those 2 gentlemen here earlier, I think they did a great PR for that committee. So Dr. Gonzalez, do you have someone who would like to join them in all the fun?
Harmony Murphy is a nominee for you this evening. Each of the board members is able to appoint 1 individual for a 3-year term. So she is being recommended for appointment this evening by board member Mayo, and would be starting a 3-year term next week when we have our next meeting.
All right, thank you very much. Do we have a motion on this item?
Sure. Let me make sure I get this stated correctly. I move that the board approve the nomination of Harmony Murphy to the Budget Advisory Committee.
I'll second that.
All right, thank you very much. Motion by trustee Mayo, second by trustee Mason. Any other discussion on this item? Would like to say that the person that I had represented at the Budget Advisory Committee has moved out of state. So I actually have an open nomination. So if anyone is interested, please let me know. All right, let's take that to a vote. Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
Trustee Mayo?
Yes.
Trustee Mason?
Yes.
Trustee McFerrin?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes 5-0 with concurrence from our student board member, and welcome Harmony.
Yes, she's not here tonight. I did communicate. Oh. she-
Would you
oh,
like to
I'm
introduce
sorry.
yourself? Come on up.
I couldn't see you. Would you please stand up and come forward? Excuse me, Madam Chair.
Hi, I am Harmony Murphy. I come from a long history of education. I taught in Orinda and Brentwood teach music many, many years ago. And then I taught at college for the last 10 years. And due to COVID, I'm back in the area where I grew up. My daughter is a TK student at Pleasant Hill Elementary. So I come, I come ready to do this sort of thing. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Harmony, for stepping up and volunteering your time in this important role. We look forward to seeing you at the meeting.
And thank you for coming. We had a communication about it and I offered that we would be happy to introduce her to the committee.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you.
And I
You're
would
welcome.
like to take this opportunity, if I may, to thank
Yes.
Ray Triana for having been my representative in the past to the Budget Advisory Committee. He decided to step off because his youngest child graduated from College Park in June, and he felt like someone who had a student enrolled in school should be advising the Budget Advisory Committee. So thank you to Ray Triana.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Trustee Mayo. And yes, thank you to Ray Triana for all your years of volunteering on the Budget Advisory Committee. Okay. All right. So that takes us to our board reports, which we had moved to the end of the meeting. So let's see, who would like to start? Trustee McFerrin, would you like to go first?
She said no.
You said, did you say no? Trustee Nzemi, would you like to go first?
Mine is brief. For real it is. I just wanted to say I regret that I didn't get to go to the Battle of the Bands this weekend, but from one band geek to another, congrats to all the musicians and their teachers who participated. Sorry, this week, I know for myself, I'm a Kaiser member. Flu shots began yesterday, so I assume they began in the world, or they began on Monday, so I assume they began in the world yesterday. So our county says that every person aged 6 months and older needs the flu vaccine every year. This is especially true this year with COVID-19 also circulating widely in Contra Costa County. And so for the general public, there are public immunization clinics, there's community clinics. You can get them at the pharmacies or grocery stores or your regular healthcare provider. For community members who have Contra Costa Health Plan, who get their care at county health centers, they have walk-in flu clinics for health plan members. And then for community members who get their care, who have Contra Costa Health Plan, who get their care through the community provider network, they can get their flu vaccine at Rite Aid or Walgreens from 3 years old and up. And you should call first to avoid long waits. And CCHP members of all ages can go to their doctor to get the flu vaccine. And community members with Kaiser should, I just went online, the whole schedule for every Kaiser location is there, or you can call 1-800-KP-FLU-11. So it's time to get your flu shot and your COVID vaccine, so that, because this year we're not going to know the what's what. How many of us have had colds in our household this month? Like, they're back because we're moving around. So the flu will be back. So let's try not to confuse the matter and everybody get vaccinated. That's it.
All right. Thank you, Trustee Nzeri. Trustee Fowler, would you like to go next?
I would like to say I did miss the last board meeting because I did have a sore throat. And I did what anyone should do in society, is get COVID tested. I did, and luckily it came back negative. So very thankful for that. As well as last meeting, I was going to honor a suicide prevention month and speak a little bit about it. I wanted to bring awareness to MDUSD's policy regarding mental health days as excused absences, as well as on our ID cards and school website. There was a National Suicide Prevention Hotline, District Health Services, Crisis Hotline, and National Runaway Hotline. Some social media accounts regarding mental health on Instagram are Mental Health America, Let's Talk Mental Health, and Advocating for Mental Health. Students are fortunate enough to have social media, or parents who want to take a look at it. I definitely recommend so. They're great websites. As well as Monday, I did speak at the Capitol in Sacramento about how COVID impacted the mental health of students. It was a little nerve-wracking, but it was a great experience, and I'm very happy that attention is being brought to mental health of students, especially during COVID. as well as clubs. So I am the president of the Black Student Union at College Park High School. I've created a close-knit community of African-American students along with their allies. And I believe that implementing clubs like BSU, GSA, Interact into middle schools will create a safe place for students to express themselves with like-minded students, help make friends, produce a representation of pupils in need, and produce unity. And linking clubs together of all types across our school will also help support the student leaders and broaden their horizons. And with that, this district student advisory committee that I am in charge of putting together, I did send an email, Dr. Clark did send an email CCing me to get students for the student advisory committee of the student site council at their school in contact with me so I can help create that and help create a voice for students in need, as well as bring that to board meetings. So principals, please send me your emails of student site council members or any questions you have at fowlerka@mdusd.org. And lastly, I did want to point out that going to school during COVID is scary. I can admit that, but my teachers are handling it very well. Everyone is on top of keeping their students in check, as well as keeping their mask over their nose and their mouth during class, which I really appreciate.
Thank you very much, Trustee Fowler, and appreciate having you back at this meeting. We missed you last month or last meeting. Trustee Mayo?
Yes, thank you. My calendar was full, although many of the meetings weren't directly associated with Mount Diablo School District for the last 2 weeks. So I was able to attend the DLAC meeting where there was parent input and questions in particular about the board policies that were being brought forward. And then I was able to attend a portion of the Mount Diablo Education Foundation meeting, the latter portion. I do appreciate Dr. Clark's mentioning of the Teacher of the Year event for tomorrow night. And I hope that many people are able to attend because this is an outstanding event. And the more we support the program, the more our teachers throughout Contra Costa County will receive deserved recognition as well as some benefits, cash and different kinds of benefits. So it is important to continue that. And just for a piece of information, that program was begun originally by 32nd District PTA and AAUW from Pleasant Hill. So it has a long-standing history in Contra Costa County.
All right, thank you, Trustee Mayo. Trustee Mason?
I attended the Business Alliance meeting, which is still being held on Zoom, but I continue to be impressed how that program keeps morphing and going up to the next step. That's the kind of program I like. I don't like same as. I like to see you always taking it up to the next notch, which they've done a really good job of. And I also was able to attend the Parent Advisory Committee where Superintendent Clark got the opportunity to actually meet some of our parents face to face, which was nice. And I look forward to those meetings in the future. And although everybody's gone, I'm going to just say that I do my best to answer every email I get. But I will not respond to any emails that have anything to do with negotiations because I don't feel that's the board's purview. I'm happy to get them because it is our job to collect information and opinions and weigh it. But I don't want the teachers to be offended or any other labor group. I will not answer any emails regarding negotiations.
Thank you, Trustee Mason. Trustee McFerrin.
All right, good evening, everyone. On Monday, I stopped by the COVID testing site at Ignacio Valley High School. I had a mild symptom, and so I took an opportunity to go there. I really rushed over after, finishing my own school day. And so besides my mistake in showing up right at the end of the school day and getting caught in some school traffic, which was my own fault. It was a great experience. I was somehow in and out in about 3 or 4 minutes, which was great because I know that for our students and their families, their time is precious. And so I just was glad to see it so well run and organized, and the staff working so efficiently and competently to make this process really smooth for our community. You know, I don't have COVID, so that's good news. I got that news today, this morning. You know, I didn't think that I had it. I just have a feeling that even though I'm vaccinated, I feel like if I get COVID, like I'm not going to, you know, be off the hook with no symptoms. I doubt it. Anyway, also, I am looking forward to some events that are coming up. The Run for Education on Saturday, October 2nd through the Education Foundation. I'm really excited to attend that. Also, I'm going to be going to a Grading for Equity training coming up starting in November. I'm very excited about that and to see kind of how I can implement some of these practices in my teaching career, and also kind of use it to inform my lens for the work that I do here. I also really want to congratulate Trustee Fowler. I was so excited to see you on Instagram. I think it was on the Mount Diablo Black Educators Association page, speaking at the Capitol. So thank you for doing that. I think Mr. Harris took you, so I want to really thank Mr. Harris for stepping up to chaperone that trip. It's really important work. Also, I want everyone to know, I know there's a readathon currently happening at Westwood. So I just want to cheer on those kids, you know, reading and getting their money's worth out of me. Or I'm getting my money's worth out of, I'm an English teacher. So I like when kids read. And then I'm also very excited to hopefully get to see part of the Teacher of the Year presentation through the county. That's all I have to share tonight.
All right, thank you very much, Trustee McFerrin. Okay, a couple things I got the chance to attend. One was the virtual college fair, which for anyone who missed it, the sessions were recorded and you'll be able to go watch it on the site. It's strivescan.com/MDUSD. It was really exciting to hear from people from each of the different colleges and schools. They were so friendly and they were just saying, you know, we're here to help you. We're not here to like weed you out. We're here to help you. So reach out to us. I thought that was really great. And one of the ones that I watched was had a whole focus on international schools. So there were schools in Italy, Switzerland, Japan, Ireland, and England. And another surprising thing was that in some cases they are more affordable than schools in the United States. So, and oftentimes they also have scholarships. So it is something for people to take a look at. I would really encourage you to take a look at all of the options from that site. I also attended the Suicide Prevention 101 Tools for Parents that CDE held, and it's on Facebook. So you can go back and click and watch that video as well. Some very useful information about what to look for if you think that anyone in your family or community may be at risk, and how to respond. I enjoyed going as a parent to school, back to school nights. They were virtual, so that made them more accessible for me to be able to hop on and meet the teachers. But I was aware that for some schools that didn't yet have their student Chromebooks or hotspots checked out, those parents were not there. Because I think last year that is how they accessed it. So that's one of the other reasons why I feel like it is really important for us to make sure that we get those Chromebooks and hotspots out to families who don't already have internet at home. And then just spent a lot of time listening to our teachers, our custodians, our food service workers, painters, locksmiths, just trying to hear what it's like out in our district and what we can do to improve things. Spent a lot of time really hearing about how to support our Afghan families that are coming into our district. I'm hearing that we do have Afghan students in a number of our schools, and so really want to spread the word that there are resources out there to help. Right down the street in Concord, off of Treat Boulevard, is the Noor Islamic Center that is leading a huge effort. So their website is noorislamic-and-cultural-community-center.com. They have a big effort that's collecting all kinds of supplies and household items for students and their families.
And at that cultural center, they also have classes in Dari and Farsi and Pashto. And so if you want to learn those languages, you can go learn them there. But also, I think so many of those community members are volunteering and trying to help make those connections. And are willing to help. I know we have local parents from within our school district that are volunteering as well to help make those connections. So do reach out. The Jewish Family Community Services organization, JFCS East Bay, is a local organization resettling many families as well. So, so my hope is that, oops, that the fly will leave me. And there's also just yesterday, I think, or the day before, there was an article in EdSource that was highlighting school districts such as Elk Grove and San Juan, who have had some really creative solutions to welcome newcomers with culturally appropriate meals, setting aside rooms in schools for prayer during Muslim holidays, Saturday school for English learners, and just hiring more translators. So my hope is that in our district, we are being really proactive about that as we have job openings. I know we have noon supervisors and campus supervisors and assistants, all kinds of different levels of jobs that we are really connecting with these groups and these families to hire them into our district and have more people within our schools that speak these languages and understand the cultures to be able to connect with the students that are coming in. And then lastly, just some upcoming things that I'm super excited about. One is tomorrow night, the Contra Costa Tupe webinar is on tobacco, vaping, and cannabis. Everything adults need to know is tomorrow night at 5:30 in English and Spanish. Another resource out there is called noplaceforhate.org that can help you build a school learning community of inclusivity, respect, and equity. And anybody can get involved in that. Basically, every person in your school has a role to play, whether you're a student, a parent, teacher, admin, staff. You just register your school, and at this noplaceforhate.org, you can access age-appropriate activity guides, research-based lesson plans. You form a committee at your school and commit to doing just one project in the year. And it's just a great resource out there. Some of our neighboring districts have actually been using this for years. And then two more programs that I want to mention. One is for Spanish-speaking parents, the 9th annual Feria de Educación is going to be held virtually on October 1st and 2nd with Univision 19, Sac State, and CSU, aiming to empower thousands of Spanish-speaking parents and students with information and resources. And that's at csus.edu/feria. And then I also was very excited to see the UC Berkeley Black Recruitment and Retention Center. They're doing their 2nd annual free virtual recruitment program. Register by October 1st. Check them out on Instagram at BRRC_Berkeley. And that is it for my board report. I did want to say in terms of I really appreciate everyone coming out to email us or to speak to us. Both, I know the hot topics kind of negotiations as well as vaccine mandates. Appreciate everyone's perspective and just for everyone to know that we take this all very, very seriously. And some of it is very complex. And so we're not going to rush into, one of the things that I've noticed is the school districts that have pushed forward with the student vaccine mandate is that they're running into some legal issues, some logistical issues. It's more complex than it seems. So I think it's really smart for us to watch what's going on out there and really consider things carefully before we make any immediate moves in those areas. So we are watching and we are listening. We are reading every single email that comes in, even if we don't reply to every single email that comes in. Just know that we have read it. So with that, let's see. We have future agenda items. Did anyone have a future agenda item?
Yes, well, I have a couple.
Dr. Clark.
So, and again, this is notice for staff so they know how to prepare for the next meeting. I've been asked that we provide a report on our Title I schools, CSI schools, about our school improvement plans, the academic support systems. So if we can, we're going to have something ready at the next meeting for that. I've also had a request that we do an update on the HOPE program, so we can hear all about HOPE and hear about those services to make sure that we're providing those support for those students. Also, I see my HR team still here. We'd like to present some information to the board and in the public about our district libraries, how many vacancies, difference between high school versus elementary, things of that nature. So if we can get some information about the libraries, and then also on the topic of HR, also some reports on substitutes. What are our numbers of substitutes that we have in the district? How many are we utilizing? Just more information on subs so that we can again be very public about it and transparent about the substitutes. And then also I spoke earlier about the need, as President Count had brought up, and as Trustee Nzewi brought up in her talk, is that there is a lot of information out there about mandating vaccines for students. And so I would hope we could, I'm requesting that we schedule a study session on this topic, and so that we can bring in the information, we can have an open conversation about it, and find what's going to work out best in our district to support our communities and the district. I think we're all on the same page, but I think it's the devil's in the details, and so really having an opportunity for us to talk about that would be things. So again, that's what I got from board members over the last week of meeting with you all. If I've missed something out, if I've left something off, I apologize, and correct me if there's anything I've missed.
Anything else, Trustee Nzewi?
Totally stole my thunder, but
Oh, I'm sorry.
no, I just want to add around the vaccines. I asked for the HOPE because a parent asked me and I couldn't say, oh, and so I'm like, we need to learn. But I've also asked about a study session for vaccines, because it is fact, vaccines are our way out of this pandemic. We've been asked over and over again to follow the science. And we can't pick and choose which science we follow. I'm really excited that our county, as of today, is requiring proof of vaccination to enter a restaurant or a gym. I'm really proud that my daughter was so proud to present her vaccination record to her theater company that she's involved in, because that was it's a required location. And she's 12 and above. And so I wanted, whether we follow in the footsteps of school districts who have already taken that step, that's actually what I've been doing the last few weeks, is learning from board members from those various school districts, or we wait for what I believe will be inevitable from the state. I'd like us to begin preparing ourselves and our community for vaccine mandates at the school level. These aren't new, it would just be adding a new vaccine. So I want parents to remember that you already got to school because only reason you're here is because you were willing to vaccinate your children. And so what I'd love to have covered in the study session is vaccine safety and efficacy for adults and children, the effect of vaccines on reducing community spread of COVID-19, potential community partnerships and education to address vaccine hesitancy, bringing vaccine clinics to school campuses and other ideas to address access, vaccine or test, which is what is currently going to be the state process October 15th, versus vaccine and test, the rights of parents and students when vaccines are mandated at school, because again, this already exists, just not for this particular vaccine, independent study options for vaccine refusal, rights of students who are experiencing homelessness or foster care, and options to protect our community outside of vaccination. So what else can our schools be doing, which our district has been doing a lot, having on-campus, on-site vaccine clinics last spring, testing now, we're all masked up, blah, blah, blah. So there's all sorts of things we can do, but just making sure we're doing everything up to and including vaccination. So thank you.
Okay, very good. So study session definitely needs to be scheduled. And then we had 2 items from last meeting, 2 board policies that we'd like to come forward at some point in time. One was board policy 1313, suggested on civility, to help
board meetings continue to be civil. Thank you to our community. We have not had any issues in our district so far, but it's a good idea to get that in place. And then the board policy on suicide prevention, just updating that with the latest. So those are the other two items that are still on our list. Okay, I think that's a good list. And I think we've completed our job for tonight. So with that, I will adjourn. Everyone, please stay to sign our documents. And with that, we will adjourn the meeting at 9:20.